to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Good morning, and it's Tuesday, and what is it, Revenge of the 6th? Everything's a Star Wars reference. I don't know what they'll do on the 7th, but man, does Disney, Ron, keep Star Wars in the front of your brain, I guess. In studio here this morning is Steve Hauk. He is our guest host this morning. Steve, good morning.
Morning.
Fresh back from California, where the weather, even though these mudslides and the fires and everything else got to be horrible, they rely on nice weather.
Yeah, we were talking before we went on air, and that was the unique thing. Of course, being from here, I'm used to this weather, but I think, though, all the time I was there, and I was there for the better part of 3 months, it sprinkled one day.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's pretty much sunny all the time.
And not too hot.
No humidity whatsoever.
No, I mean it's comfortable. However, California's falling off into the Pacific right now, so slowly, but it's just it's crazy. And I say, we don't have the poisonous spiders, we don't have the hurricanes, we don't have the tornadoes. Well, maybe a tornado or two. You just gotta love this weather. I don't know about that necessarily. Hey, Davey, can you come here just for a quick second? I'm not sure about that after the weather we've had. And here we go. Today is another storm day is what we're talking about. And, Davey, if you see that's not plugged in correctly there, you can just fix that. Thank you. And, however, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I know you've been looking at the forecast.
Unbelievable. It looks like the weekend's going to start, mid-60s and sunny, but then early next week in the low 80s.
It looks like maybe a stretch of 5-6 days with a lot of sunshine, which, boy, we could use. Lots to get to here today. Ryan Schmel's coming up in a few minutes. We'll speak with him. Senator Griffo is on this morning. We'll try to grab him around 7:15. And it looks like, and Marianne Buttonshaw in the 8 o'clock hour, it looks like a budget is pretty much ready to be written up and voted on maybe by Thursday or Friday. It finally looks like this is coming to an end.
And I think part of that is going to be some bail reform changes. Am I correct on that?
Well, they're changing some. I guess it'd be in the category of bail reform, but it's more of... The big issue has been disclosure, and because what's happening is the DA's offices, and forgive me if you're a defense attorney and you disagree, because the defense attorneys feel like the playing field has been leveled, but DA's offices around the state are saying that the discovery rules are so intense and so labor involved that they're not meeting the deadlines. So speedy trial, there are often cases that are kicked back, in some cases with violent criminals or violent people charged with violent crime. They're being released on technicalities. So it looks like there'll be a little movement there. There's the bell-to-bell school cell phone ban, which is expected. And that, I got to tell you, I'm against. I think schools can figure this out on their own. They don't need to be required to, and we don't even know what it means. It could mean schools are required to go out and buy these bags where everybody puts their phone in a bag when they walk in. They get it on their way out. But you would think that a lot of school districts have already dealt with this and already have their rules in place, and now the state is coming in and saying we know better. And boy, do we know they don't, usually.
And what's the repercussions? The schools are still going to ultimately be responsible for monitoring it anyway.
Monitoring it and dealing with whatever discipline comes along with that. Although I'm not sure that these downstate Democrats believe in discipline. It doesn't seem to be a thing. Everything is incentivized. But we'll see where all of that goes and what comes out of it. We'll learn more over the next couple of days, and we'll learn some today, speaking with Senator Griffo and Marianne Buttonshaw. Hobica's free money question of the day is up today. We'll get to that. Dr. Kent Hall is back on this morning as we're heading into a little bit of a better season when it comes to maybe the viruses. People are able to get outside and outdoors and all of that stuff, which is helpful. In the case of the corrections officers, I'm sure you saw some of that yesterday. And Walrath is one of the COs who has now pleaded guilty. Boy, this is, you'll see, I guess you kind of see why these corrections officers are not tripping over themselves to cut a deal, because the deal with Fitzpatrick, who's a special prosecutor, seems to be pretty tough. 15 years in state prison. Yeah,
that's, I understand that the crime that was pretty egregious.
Yeah.
15 years is a long time for someone who seemingly never had a past of any sort.
Well, and then the other, obviously, what happened was terrible and horrific and all of that. However, I do have to, I have to I mean, you're putting them in state prison. How do you do that when these guys were the corrections officers who were overseeing people? I mean, they're going to be a target, wouldn't you think?
I would think that probably most of them are going to spend most of that time in solitary confinement, which is in and of itself an additional penalty.
It is, because I don't know how they are going to. They're going to have to make special precautions to protect them, I would assume. Thought this was an interesting story. We have a CoreLife here. Is that the one that's over by the Price Chopper, right? Which has bowls of really healthy food and
very expensive
all of that stuff. Yeah, I guess it probably ain't cheap. But the chain just got themselves into a little bit of a pickle here. They apparently took COVID-19 pandemic relief, over $3 million worth, and now it's been determined that they lied on the application.
Whoops.
They needed to be apparently, for these restaurants to get any of the money, they needed to have 20 locations or less, and they had 29. And somehow, when they filled out the application, they forgot or omitted 9 of their locations. Therefore, they're going to have to pay it back. And the court, the DA's office, the U.S. Attorney's office, I should say, in the Northern District says they're going to pay it double back. So it'll be about $7.8 million. Does that make the prices go up a little bit? I would assume.
Yeah. Don't get croutons on your salad.
Yeah, take away the croutons. The company had sought to tap into $28.5 billion, the fund designed to provide restaurants with grants equal to revenue that they lost during the pandemic. The thing is, though, a lot of these places did pretty well during I mean, it was difficult to ramp up, but once they did, people were ordering a lot, and that's really where we went full bore into the DoorDash world, right?
It seems like some of the restaurants that were quick to get on their feet with the delivery service really did pretty. I mean, seemingly did very well.
Yeah, and they also lost. They didn't have the labor to pay that they had before, because there was no sit down in the restaurants. Boy, those were times I'd rather completely forget about. Anyway, it was first reported to the government last year by a whistleblower under the False Claims Act. He stands to get about $1.17 million under the settlement agreement. CoreLife opened its first location in May of 2015 in Clay. I didn't realize that was Syracuse-based, but there are about 29 of them. So interesting there. Boy, there was a lot of that money flowing, and a lot of people were taking advantage of it. In some cases, people, I think they've caught a lot of people who were taking it improperly, maybe not filling out the application quite honestly when they filled it out. Can you explain, because you do a lot of traveling, the real ID? And I understand, and we'll go over the requirements. But what blows my mind is, why are we having such an explosion of people trying to buy or get the real ID when this has been going on for how long? A couple of years.
Years.
And the thing that really amazes me is there is no crazy deadline, right? It's not, if you don't, I believe tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is the, quote, deadline. But what the deadline really is if you don't have it and you're flying, then it'll be difficult. I mean, you can bring a passport. There are other things that you can do. Maybe even your birth certificate. You're going to be delayed. You're probably going to be able to fly. But it's not like tomorrow's the last day you can get the real ID. I think that's where people are getting all confused.
Right. There is options, like you said, passports.
But even the real ID, on Thursday, you can still get the real ID.
Right.
It's just this is when it gets implemented. So you have people waiting in line, and they don't have to, when maybe they're going on vacation in July. And so I'm going to be flying in July. Today's my last day. I can get the real ID. That's the part of this that's not true.
Right.
So today is the day, or tomorrow will be the day where they start requiring it. And I have a feeling that's going to be a fiasco with certain provisions allowed for. But we just don't, I think we don't listen as a society, and then we just react and get panicky.
If my memory serves me, like I was talking to a friend of mine.
This was back to Cuomo, if you remember real ID, because we got it at that point.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine just last week from Texas, and she said that her driver's license in Texas, it's automatic, and they've had it for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
New York was late to the party, and kept
if you remember,
kicking it down the road.
We kept asking for an extension,
right?
And then now you're to the point where it's at the very end. And so the deal is, starting tomorrow, you will not be able to fly, and they will make, I have a feeling they will be making exceptions, but you'll not be able to fly without a real ID, at least a real ID. But if you're not flying until July, don't go wait in that long line. There's no reason to do it.
And in New York, I believe the real ID, in order to tell, if you look at your license, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a flag.
Yeah,
and that indicates that you have a real ID.
Yeah. So, and each state has something different. There might be a star, and I don't want to say each state has something different. There are different versions depending on what state you're in. Maybe 3 or 4 different versions of it. But nonetheless, don't go waiting in those lines if you don't have to. What else? Oh, and there's a recall on tomatoes. I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday. These are fresh tomatoes that apparently are potentially tainted with salmonella. I believe the story is up on our website, but you're talking about a recall on the Ray and Mascari tomatoes. Specifically, it's the 4-count vine-ripe tomatoes, and I believe that's what we usually buy. They're the ones you'll find in a Price Chopper or Chanatries or whatever that are still on the vine. I'm pretty sure that's what we normally get. But have you ever checked the brand of the tomato you're buying?
Never.
No. Maybe if you're getting a can, you'll check the brand. But that's usually about it. They're saying they could have salmonella. You should discard them and not eat them. And I thought it was interesting. Dave Portnoy out talking about his Barstool restaurants and bars around the country. This one had and it looks like this was done in Philadelphia. It looks like it was done anti-Semitic. It was like F the Jews was, and it was inside the bar. It was a sign inside the bar, and the defense of the people that were running that bar, it was a prank.
So apparently what happened
prank,
was,
by the way, right?
Yeah. So there was a group of younger guys that were at a table. And I don't know if they requested it or whatever happened, but a couple of the waitresses, bartenders, brought over a sign to the table. And it had his employees, because obviously he owns the bar, but some of his employees were involved in it, and it obviously blew up. And Dave as you know, is a big.
He's Jewish, by
yeah,
the
and he's
way.
he's a very big supporter as well,
Yeah.
and was not very happy. So originally he had agreed with his employees he wanted to just fire them, but then he said maybe it could be a learning lesson, and he decided he was going to send 2 of his employees to Auschwitz, and let them really learn what it's all about. And then one of them backed out yesterday, and so it's
I think
it's
they
a whole
ultimately
thing.
just got fired. 2 of them ended up just getting fired. So pretty interesting there. I'm not sure how you would see it as a joke, right?
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not
just
sure how
some,
you
there's
get
just
there.
some things that just aren't
Yeah, probably
laughable.
it's not going to end well. President Trump signs another round of executive orders. Some interesting ones in this round. Also comments, this was not one of the executive order, about tariffs on movies being made overseas. I don't think this is going anywhere, but we do have Ryan Schmelz maybe to disagree here. Ryan, good morning. Ryan Schmelz.
Hey, good morning.
So executive orders, what did we have yesterday?
We've got the executive order to self-deport. Yes,
I thought that was interesting, yeah.
The Trump administration's push to give people money in order to get them to deport themselves. It's the justification is that it costs anywhere between the tens of thousands of dollars just to deport somebody out of this country, whereas if they were to self-deport, it would save the administration thousands.
What are they paying? They're paying like $1,000, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
And, they take care of the flight and all that other stuff, too. But then, yes, if you go ahead and self-deport, you can use, I believe, the app, and then they send you $1,000.
If you self-deport using Allegiant, you're gonna keep about $950 in your pocket. But I'm not sure Allegiant will go where you want them to go. So that's the problem.
So, Dave, I'm asking for a friend here. Is it possible to Ryan, I'm sorry. Is it possible to self-deport if you're a citizen for the $1,000? I'm just asking for a friend.
I don't know. Maybe. Well, why don't you try it? We'll
That's
see
a
what
good
happens.
idea.
I'm going to give it a shot.
I think it's time to try this and see. Yeah, I'm going to self-deport, and then I'm just going to say I changed my mind and come home with $1,000. Anything else yesterday with executive orders?
No, I mean, that was the big one. There were a couple other ones. I believe there was one on gain-of-function research, which probably stands out to a lot of people because that might be a push from the administration to kind of get that out of the public health space. And, of course, Dr. Fauci faced a number of accusations of this, too. So I think, the reforms to gain-of-function research will probably be something that gets talked about down the road.
Okay, interesting stuff. We'll see where it just seems that he has a lot of time on his hands to come up with these. Some of these, I think, are maybe somebody else's ideas. I don't know, but he agrees with it. But I do think the movie making thing is, and I get it. I think that a lot of people have gone away from Hollywood. A lot of these movie producers have gone away from Hollywood. We've even seen movies made here in upstate New York because they save so much money. But requiring that they do it in Hollywood, otherwise you have to pay a tariff. I'm not sure that's the way to go.
Yeah, and Jeffrey said yesterday that he spoke about the tax credit that's available in New York to different film companies.
Right.
A lot of states do offer some type of tax credit, and those tax credits get eaten up very quickly. I believe the one that we had in Ohio, which is not even close to like one of the bigger ones. The biggest ones are in Georgia, California, New Mexico, and I believe New York's got a pretty high one too. But some of the states with the lower tax credit, they normally get eaten up like within months.
Yeah. Well, and that was the comments. Like incentives, if you incentivize them, they will come and make their movie in your town. And maybe Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood, I think took the movie makers for granted for many, many years. Whereas if you were coming to a place like Utica, let me tell you, not only do we pay for everything, we find everything you need, and we roll out the red carpet. It's unique for us. So, all right, Ryan, great stuff. Have a great day and happy post-birthday.
Hey, thanks, boys.
Okay,
have a good
thanks
one.
so much. Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. Quick break, and Megan has an update on the news coming up. I have some comments. One coming after you already this morning, Steve. So get ready for that.
Okay.
We'll hit you with it Deeds in New Hartford will hit you with it coming up in a second. It is 6:35 at WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. An upstate New York correctional officer is pleading guilty to felony manslaughter in the high-profile death of inmate Robert Brooks. Brooks was beaten to death at Marcy Correctional Facility in December. Christopher Walrath is expected to get 15 years in prison as part of a plea deal. The 36-year-old is one of a half a dozen correctional officers charged in the vicious attack. Body cam video showed the 43-year-old being punched, choked, kicked, and hoisted by his neck while handcuffed on a gurney at the facility near Utica. Walrath is set to be sentenced on August 4th. More is known about the stabbing at the Amazon facility in Frankfurt. The incident happened around 3:15 Sunday morning, and a victim was taken to a local hospital and is in stable condition. According to Frankfurt Police Chief Matthew Palumbo, both the suspect and victim are believed to be employed by Amazon. The incident remains under investigation before authorities can file charges with the district attorney's office. The suspect is reportedly still at large. Amazon said in a statement it is saddened by the senseless act of violence. Upstate New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik says she's strongly considering a run for New York governor next year. Sarah Lee Kessler reports.
Stefanik, a 40-year-old Harvard University graduate, says she's taking a hard look at it and says the outpouring of support has been tremendous. It comes after the rural New York Republicans' nomination to become America's United Nations ambassador fell through earlier this year because President Trump wanted her to stay in Congress, which has a thin GOP margin. Stefanik believes she can beat Democratic incumbent Kathy Hochul, who says, "Bring it on." I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
And the month of May is Motorcycle Safety Month, and New Hartford police are encouraging safety on the roads. Motorcyclists are urged to operate in a responsible manner and to always wear a DOT-approved helmet, not novelty helmets that are illegal on state roads, and high-quality riding gear like eye protection and clothes meant to protect a rider if they fall. Examples include over-the-ankle boots, padded gloves, as well as jackets and pants with protection at impact points. Motorists are reminded to share the road and be mindful of motorcycles by checking mirrors and blind spots before changing lanes or going through busy intersections. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
We'll continue telling the rain story. Upper level low pressure stubborn to go away, as is typical with these cutoff lows. More showers around today, even some thunderstorms. We got a little fog out there too early this morning. 73 later, with the scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing. Even on through the overnight tonight, 55. And they'll come in round, so it doesn't rain every hour on the hour. Wednesday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stitchick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Hey, currently, there is, I was going to say just cloudy and 56 degrees, but on my way in, there was this giant hole in the sky. Don't get nervous. This giant hole in the sky that there was clouds surrounding all around that, but a giant hole of blue. It might be gone by now, but at least for the very few minutes that it took me to get to work, I drove in under blue skies.
It's amazing how we lower our expectations.
That's right.
Here,
That's
isn't
right.
it?
That's right. I got a little bit of blue sky, and that at one point yesterday they changed the forecast and said we were going to have sunshine today with a chance of storms. And then within an hour after that posted on the Weather Channel, it was gone, and we're back to just more clouds and rain today, and a chance of some difficult thunderstorms. So right now we are currently, as I said, 56 degrees under cloudy skies, except for that big hole in the sky. Coming up, we'll get into some other stories, including Deeds in New Hartford is taking you to task. We'll get to that coming up here. If you're looking for masonry work, concrete work, masonry work, everything from concrete driveways to sidewalks, foundation repair, old walls, or new creations. Give them a chance to create something brand new that looks like it's been around for 100 years because of its beauty and the work that they do. Masonry and concrete work with Brank Construction. Call them today. Stone walls repaired or created, retainer walls. All of your masonry and concrete needs Brank Construction. Get on the list today. They'll get the job done right and right on time. Call them at 315-894-3481. Brank, B-R-A-N-C-K. If it's concrete work, masonry work, it's Brank Construction, 315-894-3481.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Now through May 31st, get up to $160 back by mail on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get up to an additional $80 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or firestonerewards.com for details.
If you're experiencing discomfort in your knees, hips, or back, it may stem from foot issues. The Good Feet Store is here to help with their team of arch support specialists. Their comprehensive solution includes strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers, a 3-step system of arch supports that work together to improve and maintain proper foot alignment by exercising and strengthening muscles, tendons, and ligaments of the feet. Get back to being pain-free with the Good Feet Store at their new Hartford location on Commercial Drive. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. A brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
So this weekend at the Capitol Theater in Rome, they're doing this really unbelievably incredible show with Showtime. It's on Saturday, and performers are able to perform along with Showtime. The band Showtime will be performing. And this group that's doing the Aquarius remake. I mean, just listen to, we played a little of this yesterday, but these are kids. These are kids like under the age of 19. Doing the music, doing all of that. And of course, just doing a really tremendous job. They will be performing their remake of the song Aquarius, which comes from Hair, the musical in the early 70s. I mean, you can kind of hear that 70s there, right? And it will be the first time that they have performed this song in public. And you'll see it coming up at the Capitol Theater on Saturday night. It's called Pulse, a youth-driven creative program designed to empower emerging artists through music, performance, and storytelling. And they'll perform for the first time coming up on Saturday night.
That's impressive.
I don't know why it just stops for me, Davey, here, but yesterday I couldn't get it to play. It is impressive, right? They do a really good job. All right, Deeds in New Hartford, are you ready for this?
Okay.
I really cannot believe that Houck has defended those murderers by stating that's a long time for not having any prior record. Ask him if he would have the same sentiment if a prison guard was the one who was beaten to death. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think I defended him. I stated facts. That is a long time for.
Well, it's the way the legal system looks at things today, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it always has looked at things, but it's although I got to tell you, the Caitlin Conley sentence was a pretty long sentence.
Yeah,
for someone who'd never done anything before. And based on a lot of circumstantial evidence, that's going to be interesting to see where all of that goes. At some point soon, that's going to be going to a grand jury.
Yeah, and I was following that from a distance, all of the stuff that was going on in that case, which, in and of itself, obviously has already been, it must be 2.0 probably on the documentary coming from Hulu. But just for a second to get back to the prison guard thing, the whole situation is horrible. And
it is.
It really is a huge responsibility for those guards when you're in a jail to make sure that part of your job is to protect those inmates, and clearly in this case that didn't happen, and it was terrible for the victim of it, and I'm sure for his family and
both victims and both of those cases.
Absolutely, and to a certain degree for the guards' families. A lot of lives got turned upside down by that.
I do have to say, Deed says his statement was sympathetic towards the prison guards. All right.
Okay.
So I would say I do believe, and I've said this, I do think that, I spoke to somebody who was working there and quit and said, I cannot, based on what's being done, the stuff that's being done to some of the inmates, and I said I can't be a part of it, and he walked away a couple of years ago. That's just one person's opinion. On the other hand, I do think that the state's bail reform and all of the taking away the ability to actually impose penalty on someone for doing something wrong, I think created a really terrible situation. And I think that plays a big role in how this has reached such a come to a horrible head.
And I've never worked in corrections, so I wouldn't presume to know what it feels like to work inside the walls there. But the other aspect of it is if you talk to any of these people, the shortage, and I know when it comes to the sheriff's department, Rob Machel's talked about it many times. It's very hard. They have a difficult time hiring, and that puts a lot of strain on the people that are there to work doubles and triples, and that takes a toll. And I don't know if that had anything to do with this, but
and to be fair, the county jail operates much differently than these state facilities.
Absolutely.
So, in fact, a lot of the people I know, a couple who are headed off to work for the county who just can't take the mandatory overtime and all of that. I just think it puts a stress on the entire system to the point where it erupts into where we currently are. And, there is no sympathy for, what do they call it, the games that were being played. Let's see how much pain we can give this person. The George Floyd game that, quote unquote, has come out in some of the testimony. I don't think there's any sympathy or excuse for that. That's just terrible. And the attacks that were done on the inmates, the two in particular who died, and who knows what other cases we don't know about. Horrible. No excuse for any of that.
It can't happen. Again,
it cannot happen.
Part of their job is to protect inmates. And like I said, that didn't happen here. Clearly.
So, however, we would be wrong if we didn't take a look at what's the cause of this? What's really making this happen?
Absolutely.
Davey, the Yankees win yesterday. Were they big victorious winners? Or are you shaking your head? You're looking
No, they
miserable.
weren't winning. They didn't win. They lost 4-3.
Listen, I'm not bragging about the Mets at all because they've lost 3 or 4 games over the course of the last week. But they did win last night over Arizona. Close game, 5-4 final score. These games are on the West Coast are way too late.
I actually watched like a couple of innings of the Mets last night. 9:40 they started.
Yeah, 9:40.
Yeah.
I turned it on thinking it was an 8:40 game, and it wasn't on. And then I looked and it was 9:40. I'm like, I'm not staying up for this.
I love that I can watch baseball now.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's really
all
good.
I'm going to say.
Oh, okay. Good. You have the time now to sit there and watch games.
Yes, I do. I have all the time in the world to watch any baseball game.
Well, being the executive producer here of the program, he tells other people what to do. Okay, I have. Can I throw in a couple of these before I break? A woman in California called, and now every time I talk about a story in California, I'm going to ask you.
I'm ready for it.
How you've been out there for 3 months. A woman in California called the police on a homeless man walking with a baby. She said, please get here. I don't know why he has a baby. He's clearly a homeless man in their development. When the police arrived, they found out that it was actually a man and his baby child just out for a quick walk. The man has long hair, a man bun, and a bushy beard, but clearly lives in the development and is not homeless.
Someone called the cops on me thinking that I was a homeless person with a baby.
Stop.
So the cop needs to see my ID. So she followed me home when I was walking the baby.
You give him trouble about this for the rest of your guys' life.
It was just hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean,
you were going for a walk or something?
Yeah, I mean, I do it like every, 3 times a day.
This lady lives, I think, a street over. She saw you. She got worried. So she followed you and then saw you walk in.
That's so funny.
I believe that pounding in the background is they're patting the baby.
Oh.
Pretty hard, though, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hello, you're hitting that baby. What the hell's wrong with you? Do you see this happen? I feel like people are they're watching the news and they become so overconscious about if you see something, say it. However, sometimes if you see something, it might not be what you think you see. And I'm sure as a police officer, you got a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, all the time. And that's the tricky part is you want people to be good citizens and call in stuff that looks out of the norm. And apparently this guy maybe wants to look at his grooming habits.
A woman in Kentucky says that her second grader ordered some suckers, the dum-dum suckers, and you can do all that stuff online. He thought 30 would be a good number. The problem is that's 30 cases of dum-dums on Amazon, which is more than 70,000 lollipops. At first, Amazon wouldn't take them back, but ultimately they refunded her. Here is Holly LaFavors. This is in Kentucky, talking about what went down.
I just panicked, and then when I saw what the number was, I just about fainted. This was just a fluke thing that happened. He told me that he wanted to have a carnival, and he was ordering the dum-dums as prizes for his carnival. So, again, he was being friendly. He was being kind to his friends.
Yeah. Mom should understand that I don't think it's any coincidence that the kid ordered dum-dums. I'm just saying.
And why has he got access to her Amazon?
That's a very good point. You might have heard this in the news. I like it. After surprising everyone with his first live show in 5 years, David Lee Roth has announced tour dates for the summer tour, and he will be coming in August to the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. Some of the things here's some of how he started things off at the M3 Festival just the other night.
Well, we're off to our usual flying start. Are we having fun yet? Yeah? She's flying. I'm flying. Right behind the wheel.
By the way, David Lee Roth, you know how old he is?
72.
70.
Oh, 70. Okay.
70. I got to say that, back in the day when an artist turned 70 years old, it was Sinatra coming out there and doing his performance. It was not long hair and jumping on stage and running around. This gives a new youth feel to the age of 70.
I think they all saw Mick Jagger running around making millions of dollars and said,
exactly
maybe I
right.
can do that.
A little more audio. Now, for the record, he is 70 today. He'll be coming to the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. Tickets go on sale Friday morning for the show. He has 4 male background singers, and guitarist Al Estrada seems to know all of Eddie's licks, everything that needs to be done. And he is 70, but what is no longer a part of his show are the high kicks and the jumps. He's saying he does not do that anymore. I'm assuming maybe because he can't do it anymore, but he doesn't do it anymore. And leave it to Larry David to ask Paul McCartney a totally random question. Here he is telling the story to Dana Carvey and David Spade. I don't know if you've checked out. They have a really cool podcast that you can find, worth listening to. But here he is explaining the question he asked to Paul McCartney. Here we go.
50th, I was introduced to Paul McCartney, and I said to him, has anyone ever punched you in the mouth?
See, if I had that question to me, I would immediately think he's about to punch me in the mouth.
Right.
Like, has anybody ever punched you in the mouth?
Surprise.
Yeah. But that's not what he was doing there.
At the 50th, I was
talking about SNL 50th.
Introduced to Paul McCartney, and I said to him, has anyone ever punched you in the mouth? There was an incident in his youth when he was like 13 or 14, and somebody headbutted him, he told me.
Yeah, okay. There you go. And then, Mike, this morning, I think David Lee Roth's initials are still on the roof area of the Utica Odd. That is true.
It is. I've seen them. And I was actually going to ask the question there. That, and it was during the Panama, I think, because they wrote it. Didn't he write a surfboard?
And that was the Van Halen.
Right.
Yeah.
And he wrote a surfboard, and that's what got him up in the sun.
They're up there somewhere. I've been up there. It's pretty cool up there. Got a break. We have news coming up. Habaika's free money question as well next hour.
Hey, it's Polly from Big Frog 104 with the perfect solution for your manufactured or mobile home problems. John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. If you've had issues with your furnace, now is the time to think about replacing it. Don't wait until next winter. Your skirting around the home could have taken a little beating. John has skirting too. With energy costs continuing to rise and no relief in sight, you need to make sure your mobile or manufactured home is energy efficient. John has new doors and windows in stock as well. Find it all at John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories.com.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Friday, May 9th at our Canastota location for exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Canastota on Friday, May 9th from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
Empowered Pathways invites you to an unforgettable evening. Come to the table. Happening Friday, May 16th at Harts Hill Inn in Whitesboro. Enjoy a cocktail hour from 5:30 to 6:30. Stunning table designs by local artists, silent auctions, themed baskets, and a delicious dinner prepared by Harts Hill Inn.
And don't miss the highlight of the night, an exciting live auction where you can go home with a one-of-a-kind designer table. Hosted by Susan Knackley with live music from local favorite Ronnie Lee. It's a night you won't want to miss.
Proceeds support Empowered Pathways life-changing programs, from conflict resolution and job training to youth and family services, making a real impact right here in our community.
Doors open at 4:30. The fun kicks off at 5:30. Join us Friday, May 16th at Harts Hill Inn. Learn more at empoweredpathwayscny.org. That's empoweredpathwayscny.org.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome,
W295EI,
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The head of Homeland Security will head to the Capitol. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, defending President Trump's new plan to pay illegal immigrants to leave.
So we're going to have a self-deportation where they deport
themselves out of our country.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is expected to face scrutiny from Democrats today when she appears before a House Appropriations Subcommittee. Expect Noem to defend the president's immigration policies. They have a new initiative paying for the commercial flights of migrants who are in the country illegally if they choose to self-deport. The administration will also pay them a $1,000 stipend once they're confirmed to have left the United States.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. While Noem testifies, President Trump will host Canada's new Prime Minister, McCartney, at the White House for trade talks.
So the relationship between the two nations has been strained due to tariffs and, of course, Trump's proposal to make Canada the 51st state.
Something the Prime Minister says will never happen.
After his recent election victory, Carney said he was prepared to have difficult but constructive conversations in Washington.
That's Fox's Brooke Sigmund. More than 100 flights to and from Newark, New Jersey, delayed or canceled yet again this morning, continuing a trend at that airport with air traffic control shortages when some took leave after a stressful technical issue last week affected Newark.
The primary communication line went down. The backup line didn't fire. And so for 30 seconds, we lost contact.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy also tells Fox.
We have really old infrastructure in America. It hasn't been updated in the last 30, 40 years. This should have been dealt with in the last administration.
Now, Duffy says they have new incentives to hire more air traffic controllers. 4 airports in Moscow were shut down for a while after Ukraine fired drones deep into Russia, which says it intercepted more than 100 drones. Russia also attacked Ukraine with drones out of a 72-hour Russian ceasefire starting Thursday to commemorate the end of World War II in Europe 80 years ago. America's listening to Fox News.
Allie Dwyer and her 3 sons lost their hero, Stephen. Serving our country in the United States Army was Stephen's calling, and flying helicopters was his passion. Stephen was killed in a Black Hawk helicopter crash over the Mediterranean Sea. Thanks to friends like you, Tunnel to Towers provided his family with a mortgage-free home, giving them security and hope in their darkest hours. Help more families like the Dwyers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Quiet down, here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
All 133 cardinals who will secretly choose the next pope have arrived at the Vatican the day before beginning the conclave to pick a replacement for Pope Francis, who died last month. Now, President Trump caused some controversy, first suggesting he'd like to be the next pope, and then with an AI-generated picture.
An image of President Trump dressed as the Pope was shared on his social media page and posted on the official White House X account over the weekend.
I had nothing to do with it. Somebody made up a picture of me dressed like the Pope, and they put it out on the internet. That's not me that did it. I have no idea where it came from.
But the president dismissed concerns the image could be seen as offensive to Catholics.
It was just somebody did it in fun. It's fine. Have to have a little fun, don't you?
New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who is in Rome for the conclave, told reporters the social media post was not good at the White House. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
A new law in Washington state's under scrutiny for allegedly being anti-Catholic.
The state law requires clergy to report child abuse even if it's revealed during confession. Governor Bob Ferguson signed the law last week, but the U.S. Department of Justice has launched a civil rights investigation citing possible First Amendment violations. The DOJ says the law may unfairly target religious leaders by denying them confidentiality protections other professionals enjoy. The law takes effect July 26, making Washington one of few states without a clergy exemption. Governor Ferguson has not yet responded to the DOJ's inquiry. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are falling after losses yesterday. Drama in the NBA playoffs.
7 seconds left. Westbrook, 5 seconds. They're down by 1. Gordon, got it!
Aaron Gordon's 3 won it for Denver in Oklahoma City. The Nuggets rallied back to beat the Thunder 121-119 on TNT. Another second-round series opener went to overtime in Boston. The New York Knicks beat the defending champions Celtics 108-105. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05.
I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 57 degrees and cloudy outside. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is next. Onondaga County DA William Fitzpatrick is releasing more details about a hazing incident involving West Hill High School students. Fitzpatrick says some of the boys' lacrosse players tried to abduct students on April 23rd, but those students recognized that attempt was a joke. The next night, however, a young player did end up getting abducted and placed inside the trunk of a vehicle. All 11 of the older players turned themselves in last week and were charged with unlawful imprisonment. The Herkimer County Humane Society is asking for help after residents and their pets of the Motel 6 in Ilion were evicted over code violations. The Humane Society said one of the biggest challenges is a litter of 2-week-old puppies, in addition to 3 adult dogs. Money is needed to bring the dogs to the vet so they can be spayed, neutered, and given critical shots and a thorough exam. The society also said the Motel 6 had put a strain on their resources due to residents acquiring and quickly discarding pets. So they asked the company to discontinue allowing pets because of it. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. Upstate New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik says she is, quote, strongly considering a run for New York governor next year. The 40-year-old Harvard University grad says she's taken a hard look and says the outpouring of support has been tremendous. It comes after the rural New York Republicans' nomination to become America's United Nations ambassador fell through earlier this year because President Trump wanted her to stay in Congress, which does have a thin GOP margin. Stefanik believes she can beat Democratic incumbent Kathy Hochul, who says in return to the news, bring it on. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. And Rite Aid is closing all of its stores in New York. The drugstore chain filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy for the second time on Monday within 2 years. CEO Matt Schroeder says the bad economy, tariffs, and other factors contributed to the situation. Rite Aid has locations in Camillus, New Hartford, Rome, Utica, Washington Mills, and Whitesboro. In all, it has 179 locations in New York. Layoffs begin next month. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. Your WIBX News Time, 7:07. Here is your full weather forecast.
We'll continue telling the rain story. Upper level low pressure stubborn to go away, as is typical with these cutoff lows. More showers around today, even some thunderstorms. We got a little fog out there too early this morning. 73 later, with the scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing. Even on through the overnight tonight, 55. And they'll come in round, so it doesn't rain every hour on the hour. Wednesday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stachik at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
57 degrees and cloudy outside. Let's take a look at sports. Broadcasting from the IBEW 43 local sports desk. The Knicks and Nuggets are out to early 1-0 road leads in their conference semifinal series. Out east, New York stunned the Celtics 108-105 in overtime, while Denver shocked the Thunder 121-119. Both of those 7-game series continue on Wednesday. As for today, the Pacers hope to take a 2-0 lead over the road against the East's top-seeded Cavaliers, while the Warriors and Timberwolves get down and dirty in Minneapolis for Game 1 of their West semis. The Cavaliers, they're bringing home yet another regular season NBA award. Kenny Atkinson was named Coach of the Year Monday. He led Cleveland to 64 wins and finished as the top seed in the East in his first season with the team. J.B. Bickerstaff, who got fired from Cleveland last year, came in second with the Pistons, while Rockets coach Ime Udoka finished third. The NFL announced Monday at the White House that the 2027 NFL Draft will be held on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. This will be the first time the city has hosted the event since 1941, when it took place at the Willard Hotel. The Bears selected Michigan halfback Tom Harmon, father of actor Mark Harmon, with the first overall pick. The Maple Leafs opened the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs with a victory over the defending champion Panthers. Toronto leads the best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal 1-0 with Game 2 on Wednesday. 2 more Game 1s are on tap for tonight. Capitals hosting the Hurricanes, the Golden Knights battling the Oilers. The Jets and the Stars begin their series with Game 1 Wednesday night. The New York Islanders, they have the first overall pick in the 2025 NHL Draft. The Isles won the NHL Draft Lottery after having the 10th best odds at just 3.5%. at getting the top pick. And the Yankees, they came up short in their series opener against the Padres. They fell 4-3. Trent Grisham slugged his 9th home run of the season, though, with a 2-run blast. The Pinstripes continued their 3-game set against San Diego, and the Mets holding on for a 5-4 win over the Diamondbacks in Phoenix. New York leads the NL East after snapping its 2-game skid and will continue its 3-game series against Arizona tonight. In other news, DH Jesse Winker is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a grade 2 oblique strain, and reliever AJ Minter is having a season-ending surgery next Monday. Your WIBX news time is 7:10, 57 degrees and cloudy. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Now through May 31st, get up to $140 back by mail on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $70 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or bridgestonerewards.com for details.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
Hey, Central New York, this is Will Kane of The Will Kane Show, and you can now hear my show every weekday at WIBX. I do things a little differently when I'm behind the microphone because I turn it over to the listeners to learn and really dig into the issues that impact everyday Americans. The Will Kane Show lets you keep ahead of the headlines and understand what's really going on in the world with in-depth discussions from leading experts and the brightest minds. From politics to sports, nothing is off topic. Listen to The Will Kane Show weekdays at 6, only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Sorry, I was talking to Steve Houck. Good morning.
Good morning again.
Okay, I see what Larry's telling me. I have a lot of comments here, and let me get to them. And then Mike and Schuyler, I'll take him in a second. Coming up, we'll speak with, let me check on Senator Griffo, too. We're going to try to get an update from him here this morning. All right, Morehouse on the New York Mets. Champion teams do not have long losing streaks. Pete Alonso is carrying us right now. Lindor is doing his thing. Soto will be okay, and at some point, put this team on his back. Bring on the Dodgers. Exciting year to be a Mets fan. Who do you like? You're probably
I'm a Yankees guy.
Yeah.
And actually, I was going to ask that in the last segment was, how's Soto working out for you?
Well, I got to tell you that I'm okay. As a Mets fan, obviously we still have the best record in baseball, and Soto has done a tremendous job for Pete Alonso. So they're pitching around Soto, and they're stuck with Alonso, and Alonso's hitting lights out. It seems
same thing with Judge. That's what they.
That's kind of what happened there.
But his fielding is a little suspect, don't you think?
I don't. I have not been glued to every game. It usually takes, and I'll explain why. I'm left to watch the Mets games outdoors. We have a little screen room, and that's where I watch the Mets games. My wife owns the TV. I'm pretty sure she bought it. I don't know, but I believe she owns it and determines what's watched on that TV. So once it warms up a little bit, I'll be outside a lot. So with that said, I did see Soto make a throw and at the plate it was a bullet to home plate to prevent a run from coming in. Mets go on to win the game. So I've seen nothing but really good defense out of him.
Good.
However, as a Yankees fan, I feel like that was not his thing, right?
There was, I guess it's all relative when you're paying somebody that much money. I guess you expect perfection.
Yes.
But there was a couple of times where he looked a little shaky in the field.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where all of it goes. One thing is for sure, he won't be shaky because he's short on dough.
Yeah.
It's not going to be out there, man, I have no money. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. Oh, here's a fly ball. I just missed it. That ain't happening with Juan Soto.
No.
But Mike and Skyler. Good morning, Michael. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
How you doing? Also, he won't be shaky, too, because about not having a place to stay because he has that suite all year long.
That's right. That's right. Paid for by the Mets. Yeah.
But, no, I wanted to comment. The thing is, too, is exciting, to have that feeling, exciting to be Yankee. It's going to be hard for me to feel that way as long as Aaron Boone is there. I tell you, yesterday, I was watching the game. They're up 3-0. Rondon is doing phenomenal. I fall asleep because it's late, and I wake up, it's 4-3, and I watch the end of it, and then they lose. Now, last night, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was a close game. I had no idea of what
went down, what happened.
But this morning, then I find out that he puts Cruz in there. Cruz only pitches 2 pitches. He does phenomenal. Then they take him out, and then they put Williams in, and then the game's over. And I'm thinking to myself, he said he wants to save his arm. Okay. Now, I know you say to yourself, "Oh, it's the beginning of the year," but it's not when you're playing; it's who you're playing against.
Yeah.
And the way San Diego is playing right now, you might be looking at a World Series contender. Right?
I think without going any further on this, I do think, because Davey wants to comment, I do think what's going on is we just look at all the analytics today. We are so concentrated. I say we. I'm not a part of it. I don't know if you know that. But it looks like these teams and these managers are so set on pitch count, and we're only going this far, and you got to save the arm, and it's all done on the research that's been done by a bunch of people sitting at a computer determining what's the best move. And sometimes the best move comes from your gut. That's what makes a good baseball manager, I think. But
and the fact is, too, I mean, that Cruz has been unstoppable.
Yeah.
He only pitched 2 pitches, right? He didn't do that much.
Yeah.
Now, from what you've seen, Williams has been struggling, that new closer. He's been struggling, right? In a game like last night, they can't lose a game like that because the problem with that is, the other team sees that and you go, oh, look at him, he's making a decision like that.
Yeah.
So, it shows a lot right there. And
it is the beginning. It is the beginning of May. And if I say that to you in August, it is only August. I mean, no reason to worry.
It's a time,
I know.
I believe it's the teams you're playing against because
can I tell you you tell me without getting into too much information about my personal life is basically an open book on this program. And it always really has been since I've been in radio, and much to the chagrin of many people in my family. But over the years, I think I've gotten much better. So I don't want to give up too much information on my family members' personal information. However, you tell me if this is bad. So I may have a kid who may be graduating sometime soon. And that kid might have a friend that we have not met yet. And as a celebration, and I'm getting a lot of criticism over this, as a celebration, by the way, the kid's a Yankees fan, as a celebration, that just pisses me off right to begin with. Couldn't I get lucky enough to have, no. Anyway, so listen to me. So to celebrate, I had an opportunity to get someone's club seats for a Mets game coming up next week. So I thought, what a great celebration of graduation by taking everybody 4 tickets.
Amazing.
To a Mets game. And amazing. Mets. So the criticism is, so I'm thinking, well, the friend likes baseball, and what a great way to really, figure things out a little bit. Do we like the friend? Do we not like the friend? But now, listen to me. Mike, I'm being criticized because it's not my graduation. It's like the time, my wife compares it to the time that I came home and bought her a faucet for her birthday. It was a beautiful faucet. You just touched it and the water came out.
Love it.
Well, I took that back because apparently that wasn't a good birthday gift. I feel this is a great opportunity to bond. And yes, it's the Mets. Yes, it's something I like. But I feel it's a great graduation gift. Your thoughts, Mike?
I believe so. I mean, here's the thing. I can actually put myself in that because I'm a big Yankee fan, right? My brother, he actually won tickets to see the Mets. Now, I've never been to Mets Stadium. I don't like the Mets, but I went with my brother and my
City
father.
Field is really nice, right? It's nice.
Yeah.
But remember, though, this isn't about the Mets versus Yankees thing. This is about my wife, my kid hate baseball. So but it's different when you go, and these are club seats. These are really nice seats. So, they're going to be, there's a waiter that's going to come to you and say, hello, what would you like? Right? They speak that way even at the baseball games. The criticism is I'm going more for me than I am. But I don't think it's a fair criticism. I wouldn't say that.
I'm
being very selfless. I'm being very selfless.
You don't know until you go. And you said he doesn't like baseball, but he goes there. It's a great experience. Also, it might change his mind. Either way, it's a great experience. It's about the experience and. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to use that as ammunition when I go forward on this. Okay.
Okay, well, I wish you the best.
Okay, because I won't win. Trust me. Okay, Michael, thank you. Steve Houck is in. Your thoughts on this? Remember, the issue is not about Yankees versus Mets.
I mean,
the issue is about certain people going to this game are not only don't like baseball, but like my wife doesn't like sports. The only way I can get her to sit down and watch a football game is if I tell her the commercial is going to be really good. You got to wait for the commercials. And I don't know, Beyonce's playing in the halftime of the Super Bowl. So it's more about we hate baseball. Why would we do this on such an important day?
I look at it. I remember I took my daughter to the first game at Yankee Stadium, and she was very little, and she walked out into the field, and all she said was "wow," because it's part of baseball is you get there and you're outside in some of these. It's the beauty of it.
It is
beautiful grass,
and you walk in, you see it's breathtaking when you see these stadiums. But keep in mind, in family court, one of the big criticisms is that parents tend to, if you've got a 5 or 6 year old, boy, can you fill their heads and all of a sudden. Maybe even pit the kid against maybe one or the other, especially in divorce, right? It gets very, very ugly. We forget to mention how we're able to program our children. When you have you have a household, you're not divorced. It's a regular. So there's your kid, and you're like, this is my chance to take my daughter to have this incredible visual of a Yankees game. She will be a fan forever. So you're really trying to manipulate the mind here.
So, and what you're suggesting is...
Did it work?
Worked for me. I don't know if it worked for you because your son doesn't like the Mets. So I'm guessing no.
Yeah, well, you're right. It hasn't worked for me, but it did for you. So, Davey.
And we discussed last week, me and you, when you said that you were going to go to the City Field to see the Pirates and the Mets. And I mentioned I hope Paul Skeens is pitching for the Pirates on one of them days you were going, so that'd be an awesome game to see him.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. My luck, it'll get rained out. I want one chance to go. It's that night, and hopefully, because there's no opportunity to come back the next day, so I hope it's good weather.
Well, they play the Yankees, and they play the Yankees after the Pirates at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be big. Is it 2 games? Only 2?
No, it's the 16th, 17th, and 18th next weekend.
All right. Last year, it seemed like the Subway Series was only 2 games each time they played. And so I'm glad to see they're playing more this year.
So it's 3 at Yankee Stadium and 3 at City Field.
Okay. I want to tell you, if I can, about Mohawk Valley Manufacturing in Rome, located on Lower East Dominic Street. And if you're having a project, and Steve, I'm sure you've probably been in this scenario, where maybe you're getting out bags of concrete in a wheelbarrow, you're trying to mix it up, it's slopping all over your shoes. You never can quite get it mixed up. You resort to putting a dry bag of Quickcrete in and then putting the hose over it, thinking that's going to...
apparently you've seen me working.
Okay, yes.
You've seen me work in the yard, apparently.
It's what we do.
Yep.
This is an amazing service, and it's perfect for your springtime projects if you're in need of concrete. And maybe it's just repairing or a small sidewalk. Maybe you need a pad for something. Whatever your project is, oftentimes you don't need maybe 8 yards of concrete, yet the big cement trucks require that minimum, a lot of waste. And in this case, there's no minimum. You could get a yard of concrete brought to your home, and there's even same-day service. You can text and not even call. They'll come to you. The number is 315-748-5886. Of course, they'll come to you. And it's a smaller European-style cement mixer. So it can get into places that the big trucks can't. And the other part is, being that it's a smaller truck and a smaller load, it'll do less damage to your driveway, to everything else. It's a great opportunity if you need a certain amount of concrete, but you don't need all of that because it ends up going to waste, and it's a waste of money. It's Mohawk Valley Manufacturing. Let them bring the amount you need to your project, whether it's work or home. They have you covered. You can text or call 315-748-5886. 315-748-5886. Mohawk Valley Manufacturing in Rome.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit bmecompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
This Saturday, May 10th, the Rome Capitol Theater presents the Talent Showcase CNY On Stage Live with your hosts, the Blues Brothers of Central New York and the house band Showtime, sharing the stage with magicians, vocalists, comedians, and special guests. A film crew will catch all the action for a future television broadcast. CNY On Stage Live at the Rome Capitol Theater Saturday, May 10th at 7. Tickets on sale now at romecapital.com.
Hey, before we do news, I do want to tell you the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. And you don't have to leave your family doctor. You could go to the Falcon Clinic in addition to. You could make the Falcon Clinic your family doctor. Whether it's Dr. Zielinski or Dr. Shemaleski, they're accepting new patients. For me, I see both Dr. Shemaleski and Dr. Shemaleski and Zielinski, and it is an osteopathic treatment that I receive. It goes about 35 to 40 minutes, and they basically make sure your body is loose, everything is in place. When you're walking, everything is in place, and everything from your sinuses, everything is clear, and you are, as a body, flowing the way you're supposed to flow. That is how you avoid pain. That is how you keep healthy, and that is the osteopathic approach. I look forward to the day, and it's coming up this week, when I go, because when I leave, and usually for a couple of weeks afterwards, I just feel so much better afterwards. Now, if you're having a medical issue and you just can't seem to get to the bottom of it, you're frustrated that other physicians are not able to take care of you, and you need a second opinion, great opportunity to reach out to the Falcon Clinic. One thing I have found is people who go to the Falcon Clinic love it. and they'll come up to me and say, it changed my life. And you can see for yourself. 315-507-4751, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with their news update. A correctional officer pleaded guilty to manslaughter Monday in connection with the December death of inmate Robert Brooks at Marcy Correctional Facility. Christopher Walrath was one of 6 guards charged with second-degree murder in the beating. He pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter during a hearing at state court in Utica. The plea deal calls for him to get a 15-year prison sentence. 3 prison employees have also reached plea agreements, while 3 more are charged with manslaughter, while another faces charges of evidence tampering. Onondaga County DA William Fitzpatrick is releasing more details about a hazing incident involving West Hill High School students. Fitzpatrick says some of the boys' lacrosse players tried to abduct students on April 23rd, but those students recognized that attempt was a joke. The next night, a young player did end up getting abducted and was placed in the trunk of a vehicle. All 11 of the older players turned themselves in last week and were charged with unlawful imprisonment. Upstate New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik says she's strongly considering a run for New York governor next year. Sarah Lee Kessler reports.
Stefanik, a 40-year-old Harvard University graduate, says she's taking a hard look at it and says the outpouring of support has been tremendous. It comes after the rural New York Republicans' nomination to become America's United Nations ambassador fell through earlier this year because President Trump wanted her to stay in Congress, which has a thin GOP margin. Stefanik believes she can beat Democratic incumbent Kathy Hochul, who says, "Bring it on." I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
And the Herkimer County Humane Society is asking for help after residents and their pets of the Motel 6 in Ilion were evicted over code violations. The Humane Society said one of the biggest challenges is the litter of 2-week-old puppies, in addition to 3 adult dogs. Money is needed to bring the dogs to the vet so they can be spayed, neutered, given critical shots, and a thorough exam. The society also said the Motel 6 had put a strain on their resources due to residents acquiring and discarding pets, and asked the company to discontinue allowing pets because of it. You can read more about this on WIBX950.com. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
We'll continue telling the rain story. Upper level low pressure stubborn to go away, as is typical with these cutoff lows. More showers around today, even some thunderstorms. We got a little fog out there too early this morning. 73 later, with the scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing. Even on through the overnight tonight, 55. And they'll come in round, so it doesn't rain every hour on the hour. Wednesday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stitchick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, currently, partly mostly cloudy skies. We're at 58 degrees, and it is, Davey, time for Hobica's free money question of the day. We're looking at $150 this morning. And caller number 7 right now, 315-736-0186. $150, great question. Caller number 7, 315-736-0186. Call right now for your chance to win from WIBX.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Clearing out your home or commercial building, John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation will handle it for you. We handle residential or any size commercial property, before and after estate sale cleanouts, or any junk removal service. John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation is a 5-star rated and background checked business, providing service you can count on, and we're fully insured in the industry. Call John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation today and take the stress out of your mess.
Individual results may vary. Prescription required. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
You've noticed your hair is thinning out. Or maybe you've noticed your game in the bedroom is getting a bit cold. Let's make this real simple. These are normal things that happen to lots of guys at some point. And through Hims, getting help couldn't be more, as we said, simple. The process is 100% online, so you just have to answer a few simple questions, and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. For your hair, that means access to a range of doctor-trusted treatments designed to help you regrow hair in as few as 3 to 6 months. And for your more intimate moments, that means access to treatments made to give you a boost in the bedroom, like Viagra, Cialis, and their generic counterparts, which can cost up to 95% less through Hims. If prescribed, treatment is shipped right to your door. A few clicks, and you're dealing with these things before they become a thing. So simple. Find your hair loss and ED solutions today at Hims.com. That's Hims.com. HIMS.com.
Not everyone who handles your personal information is as careful as you are, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock will monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. And if your identity's stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com. LifeLock. For the threats you can't control, terms apply.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Okay, it's time for Hobica's free money question of the day, and it this morning is worth $150. It comes from the Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica, at 315-724-1600 for all of your local, your legal needs is the phone call, 315-724-1600. Ready to take a shot at winning the dough is Kevin in New Hartford. Hi, Kevin. Good morning.
Good morning.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I hope so.
Were you one? I heard from a lot of people yesterday saying I knew the answer to yesterday's question. I don't know if you heard yesterday's question.
I heard it, but I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. And I didn't know it anyways.
I can bring it up for you, and let's see if you get it here today. It won't count, but let's see if you can get it. Tom Adams was the first American to use this machine. What was it?
Yeah, I remember the question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
I'm glad I didn't use that on you because the answer, vending machine. And actually, he was a gum maker, became a big, that blackjack, black licorice flavored gum, which was big in the 1900s, early 1900s. The first vending machine was in New York City. So, all right, this question I think is easier. Let's hope you get it. Are you ready to go?
I hope so again.
7 seconds. Here we go. This is your question. Before the Monkees, there was a Davy Jones in Great Britain who grew up to be this rock legend. Who did this Davy Jones become? Ready, go.
Beatles.
Beatles, yeah. Well, the Beatles came before. You got to get a guess in. That was, you got to guess, which is a smart move. Any idea? Hauk, I'm going to go to Steve Hauk here.
No.
This Davy Jones became a rock legend. It is what he was called when he was a performer, when he was only a teenager. In fact, he was on national television in Great Britain as Davy Jones before the Monkees. This Davy Jones became David Bowie. Yeah. I never knew that. Interesting question that popped up here this morning. We'll give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25 gift card. Good at Aquavino, at Babes, and Taylor and the Cook, and the list goes on, including the Odd and Nexus. Stand by. Davey's going to take care of you.
Okay. Thanks a lot again.
Thanks, Kevin. Hold on. On the line right now, Dr. Kent Hall. Doc is the former, of course, formerly with MVHS, now retired, and just recently spent some time doing some photography, Doc.
Yeah, I was actually with a group around Syracuse. So we were going around Green Lake State Park and stuff. It was a great time. Fantastic photographers. Just
the things that you can get, especially when you're near water. We received Dave Olney, actually, who will be is now the police chief in Boonville, who will be a guest host on Friday. Dave said, you ought to see this video of an eagle coming in and catching a fish at the Sequoia Creek. We posted that, and it just took off. It was so amazing to see. And this was just picked up on that's the flood watch camera that they have over at the bridge at Sequoia Creek. The eagle swooped down, stood there for a second, then jumped in and came out with a fish. It was pretty cool to see. But I'm assuming when you're out in the wild and especially near water, you see a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, that's one of the neat things is, I go out. Honestly, I just love going out and being outdoors, and, that's just great and fun. So taking pictures is just like the icing on that cake. But yeah, seeing the wildlife. I mean, I've seen moose and I've seen, coyotes and stuff. It's great just to be out in the wild and being able to kind of relax and enjoy yourself.
I think we're being a little easy on the deer. I was driving in this morning, and all of a sudden, 2 deer just run right out in front of me, and there's a line of traffic that I'm in going in one way, and then the traffic coming towards us. Everybody stopped, and then we all started, because then there's another one on the other side of the road that didn't. Now, that one's going to want to cross with the other 2 deer. These were kind of their young deer, and so now the deer goes and then stops. So we start to go and then stop because the deer looks like it wants to go again. And finally, the deer came across the road. We make it very easy for these deer. It's when you're going down the road 60 miles an hour and a deer jumps out. And it's probably because of the damage that can be caused to your own vehicle, or even to you in some cases, right? A deer can cause some real terrible accidents. Nonetheless, you could have caught that picture today as the cars were sitting there waiting for the deer to cross the highway. All right, Doc, I want to start. Steve Houck is in as a guest host this morning and has a question that is interesting that just came out of the Trump administration.
Morning, Dr. Hall. So I don't know if you've caught this over the last few days, but apparently there's going to be a new initiative regarding vaccines. They diverted some money, like $500 million, to develop a newer vaccine, all-encompassing type flu vaccine. I don't know if you've had a chance to read that yet.
Yeah, so this is an initiative actually that's been going on for or has been talked about for a while, which is instead of having to reformulate the flu vaccine every year, is to see if we can get one that is not targeting the current antigens that are being targeted for the vaccine, but to target something that is more stable within the flu virus, and so can be used over and over again. And it's a good thought. I'm not enough of a virologist or immunologist to be able to say, what the issues are. I guess what I would say is, given the fact that it hasn't been done yet, it's not going to be an easy thing, because it's probably difficult to actually find something that has antigenic properties so you can make an antibody for it, and is stable within the flu vaccine, or within the flu virus. But that's if it can be done, I think that would be great, because then obviously it makes getting the flu vaccine much more much easier to dispense. So.
Wasn't there I know there was talk about having one vaccine that would cover COVID and the flu each year, and that's kind of stalled a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's really just a matter of manufacturing something that can be put together, and they don't, and in such a way that they wouldn't, compete or would not degrade each other and stuff. So that's that's really more of a biochemical thing than it is a medical issue.
Yeah. And then I wanted to ask a question for somebody asking about these weight loss medicines that have become extremely popular and how they're being used. First of all, one of the criticisms that you get from some physicians is that we're, as a public, we're using these to lose weight. You lose the weight you want to lose, and then you don't change habits and you gain the weight back. The other thing is, because these are relatively new, worry about the long-term health effects. What is your take? And then I have a part two to this one.
Yeah, so first of all, they are very effective in terms of controlling people's appetite and therefore losing weight. But whoever is concerned about it in terms of, are you actually doing the work of modifying your behavior so that it can be sustained. The other thing that is true about these medications as they're currently used is that once you're on them and you lose weight, if you go off them, you end up rebound. You tend to rebound and gain a lot of the weight back, if not all of it. And so it is right now the current recommendations are that once you're on them, then you will need to be on them for basically for the rest of your life. Yeah. And so it is also they are relatively new medications. So as with anything new, you don't know long-term effects. Although, these are probably going to be safe long-term because of the way that they act.
Okay. And then the one thing I'm hearing a lot of, and I'll add on to this question, is that there are people in the know, if you will, who are microdosing. And that is the big thing right now. Can you explain what that is and why it's beneficial, if it is beneficial?
Yeah, so microdosing is taking a small amount of a medication, and where you hear about it most is they're taking small amounts of psychedelics. So it's whether it's mushrooms or LSD or something like that, and it is instead of having the full-blown dissociative effect and hallucinogenic effect, it really kind of resets the neural circuitry within your brain, and we don't know a lot about it. There haven't been a lot of studies on what microdosing does in terms of long-term benefits and long-term risks.
Yeah.
But people who have done it, so anecdotally, people who have done it, and the case reports that have been written would indicate that it really does. It is a mood stabilizer, and so it can make you feel better, from whether it's depression or anxiety or things like that. But again, long term and real in depth studies just haven't been done yet.
Joe with a question. Joe Load actually with a question for Dr. Hall. Joe, you're on with Dr. Hall.
Hey, Doc. Here's my situation. I have like a quarter of a kidney left. Is there some of these drugs that you would steer away from due to that kidney issue, or?
Yeah. So first of all, Joe, I'm sorry about what's going on with your kidneys and your kidney function. Yes, there are certainly classes of medications. Probably the most important one is the nonsteroidal anti-inflammatories, so the ibuprofen or the naproxen. They are known to cause, as a side effect, to cause damage to the kidneys that in most cases is reversible. However, if you only have 25% kidney function and they take that out, then that obviously would be a big thing for you. So that is definitely a class that I would stay away from. There are certain diuretics that you also should stay away from because they can also be harmful to your kidney.
So my issue is with the decreased kidney function or with the having decreased kidney, I also have a very bad back, and I've been going to get pain management shots, in my back, which has been great, except for the doctor I was going to see for some reason can't handle workman's comp issues anymore. And besides Tylenol, Flexerol, and hydrocodones, you got any other maybe remedies that would be all right for my kidney that would also relieve back pain? Because the Tylenol, I'll be honest with you, I take probably 12 a day, which is probably not good either. And then the Flexerol, and then of course, hydrocodone, they give you, 10 pills, and they tell you, hold on, that's all we're going to give you for a couple of months. And so that's every day I wake up in pain. Every night I go to bed in pain. And, without the shots, due to this doctor, I'm trying to find another doctor to give me shots. I just don't know what else to do,
Yeah, no, I can understand that. And certainly, just to reinforce the Tylenol thing, okay, you really should not be taking more than 4 grams of Tylenol a day. So if you're taking 12 and they're 500 milligrams, then that's actually 6 grams, and that can actually cause problems with your liver. So you need to be very careful about that. There are other medications that may be beneficial to you. I guess what I would recommend is that once you find a doctor, there are other medications that don't necessarily impact the kidney that are metabolized in different ways. That may be beneficial to you, but chronic back pain is the bane of existence of many people. So it can be very, very difficult. And it isn't just a medication thing. You also need to make sure that you're doing, appropriate exercises and, stretching and things like that, which can be obviously very difficult and very painful when you've got back pain on the one hand. But on the other hand, they actually also benefit you in terms of managing the pain. So it's really more of a holistic approach than just a medication approach for back pain.
Doc, there was I read somewhere there's a medicine that they are working on that they feel is better than the opioids. It eliminates the pain, and it is not addictive. Although, isn't that what they told us about the opioids?
Yeah, I've been following that. I will admit I don't know a lot.
Well,
about
I think it's
it,
early, and I don't think it's out yet.
Exactly right. It is. That's exactly what they said in the 90s about OxyContin was that it wasn't going to be addictive and stuff, and obviously that wasn't true.
Yeah, that wasn't true. And then Joe, just quickly before you go, your story is crazy. You didn't know you have a piece of one kidney left. But you had no idea your scenario. It's really an amazing story.
I really didn't find out until I was 40 years old that I was actually born with one kidney, and then 3 years ago, stage 3 kidney cancer to the one that I had, which, thank God for my Dr. Schwab at Roswell in Buffalo, because he pretty much, I still have kidney function, although, with old age and with minus parts of my kidney, I'm in the bathroom a lot. What are you going to do? At least it's still functioning.
Yeah. Interesting, right? I've never really checked to see if I have the right number of organs. I'm assuming I do. I think so far any of the testing that I've had done, but to find out at age 40 that you're minus one in the kidney department is a pretty crazy story. So, okay, Joe, good luck. I know that back pain can be just brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. I'm not going to lie. I woke up this morning thinking, man, it just put me down,
Yeah, it's awful. All right, Joe, thanks, man.
Have a great day.
Good luck. Doc, one of the things that and we'll wrap with this, but just hearing what Joe is going through there, somebody's asking, triptan might work for back pain, TRIPTAN. I don't know, Joe. You might want to check that. And then, Doc, the one side effect that I think is not really talked about all that much when it comes to chronic back pain and chronic pain is the depression that comes along with it.
Yeah, that's very true, and that's why many people that are on that have chronic pain, whether it's chronic back pain or other pain elsewhere, will often be on antidepressants, and they actually do have an effect on the pain cycle, but it's really more about the fact that when you're in chronic pain, the effect on the neurotransmitters in your brain is such that it actually predisposes and causes depression in the majority of people that have it. So.
All right, Doc.
It is something that needs to be understood better, so that people don't think that this is just that it's because of them.
Dr. Kendall, as always, we appreciate the insight. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and please be safe.
Nope, you do the same. In studio is a guest host this morning. It's Steve Houck. Steve is back after how many months?
So I was 4 months in North Carolina, and then better part of 3 months in
Before
LA.
that, you were out in L.A.
Right.
And just talk about some of the stuff you saw with these wildfires out there. It's just incredible.
It was especially down in the Palisades, and then down in Malibu. You have, we've seen them all on TV. Many TV shows have been filmed there. Just $20 million home after $20 million home. The only thing left was the chimneys and the fireplaces. It was just is amazing. If you're there and if you've ever been there, you would never think that the fire could reach that particular area. But it was so, hurricane force winds. But essentially, they had what Lahaina had a few years ago with the fire and then the hurricane force winds, and just there's no way to stop it.
And it really puts a real emphasis on the maintenance of those wooded areas, which is why they go in and clean all that stuff out, so you don't have it's a timber box ready to go up.
Land management, for years, California's faced a lot of criticism for it, and now I think finally this may be the tipping point for them. Now they're gonna start doing it. So we'll see if they follow through on it.
And then in the Carolinas, what did you see there?
Yeah, that was really tough, because you have an area that the Carolinas have faced hurricanes over the years many times, but on the coast, not in the mountains where it hit, and that again was just a bad set of circumstances. A couple weeks before the hurricane, they had torrential rain, which loosened up all the soil up in the mountains, and then the hurricane came through, knocked the trees over, and then the rain started, and it just created this huge mudslide where the hurricane itself didn't cause a lot of death. It was the mudslides that came down and just engulfed these whole communities.
And in a lot of cases, they get nothing with insurance.
Right. Yeah. Right, and that's the tricky part in these areas, and that's the big thing in California now is the insurance. So many of the companies have pulled out.
Which was going on before the fires, right?
There was
a battle over insurance, and there were companies that were leaving these people defenseless when it comes to having any bit of insurance.
Many of them went to, they call it the FAIR, FAIR policy, which is essentially a state-run insurance, and we know when government gets involved, it's always very efficient, effective.
They're always good at it.
Sure.
And then the last thing I would ask you is when you flew out there and you got a chance to see it for the very first time, it reminds me of that first time you've seen something just iconic, one of the wonders of the world, and you see it for the very first time. It's surreal. And I'm assuming with everything we saw, when you got to literally, probably even just the smoke that you could smell in the air played a role in how it affected you.
It lingers, for sure. I was there, I think, 2 days, and I drove down into Malibu. And when you come down into the canyon, you see just all the burn scar, all the trees burn. And then when you get down to the coast, and you just, again, it's in the air, it lingers, and it stays for a long time.
And then seeing it for the first time had to be unbelievable.
Yeah, obviously destruction comes in many forms, but fire is just, I think for a lot of those people, they had nowhere to go. So you see the cars just literally left on the road. They had no way out. And again, if you've ever spent time there, the traffic is horrific anyway.
And then out of nowhere, you'd find this one house. I mean, when we say house, these are big properties that went untouched. Everything around it was burned, but somehow this house, there's a few of those that just didn't get touched.
Some of it's construction, and some of it's luck.
Yeah, just luck. I want to tell you about River Hills Properties, continuing to be that fastest growing real estate company here in Central New York, but also in some of the most beautiful parts of Florida. If you're in a position where you're thinking about maybe next year I don't want to go through this winter, we'll become one of those snowbirds, or maybe you want to invest in property in Florida. River Hills Properties now has an office in Florida, Sarasota, Naples, and beautiful Marco Island. Some of the most beautiful places you'll find, and River Hills is there. They can help you here, and they can help you down there. And no lockbox. Your listing agent is there, every step of the way through the process, assisting you. Offices in Little Falls, Utica, Copenhagen, Newport, and now in the beautiful portion of Florida that is just unbelievable. Check them out. River Hills Properties, 315-896-1009.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Will trade talks be tense at the White House? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. We'll find out in a few hours when Canada's new leader shows up for a meeting.
When asked at the White House Monday what he expects from his visit with Canada's new Liberal Party Prime Minister McCartney, President Trump said,
I don't know, he's coming to see me. I'm not sure what he wants to see me about, but I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does. They all want to make a deal because we have something that they all want.
The president did praise Carney last week, and Carney said of his phone call with the president that it was very constructive. He said his government will fight to get the best deal for Canada, that he knows the discussions will not be easy. But as for Canada becoming the U.S.'s 51st state, Carney has said this will never happen.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Trade will also be an issue in Congress, where Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will testify this morning.
Bessent is likely to face questions not just from Democrats, but also Republicans on the administration's plans on tariffs, as many lawmakers are facing questions from constituents who export products to other countries.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz at the Capitol. Other Trump cabinet members will also testify at the House this morning. The Homeland Security Secretary will be asked about the new plan to get illegal immigrants to self-deport, paying for their flights and giving them $1,000 after they've left. Christy Noem tells Fox.
It saves us thousands and thousands of dollars, and it also is a much safer situation for officers and for those in communities.
For a second night in a row, Ukraine attacked Russia with drones. Some reached the capital.
Moscow's mayor claims at least 19 Ukrainian drones were destroyed before they reached the city. Sergei Sobyanin says some debris landed on a highway, but there were no casualties. All 4 of the city's main airports closed for several hours as a precaution, but have now reopened.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Israel's been hitting Houthi militants with airstrikes in Yemen, and today warned people living near the airport in Sana'a to evacuate as the Israelis retaliate for a missile launched by Iran-backed Houthis over the weekend that did damage near the busy Tel Aviv airport, disrupting flights. America's listening to Fox News.
Allie Dwyer and her 3 sons lost their hero, Stephen. Serving our country in the United States Army was Stephen's calling, and flying helicopters was his passion. Stephen was killed in a Black Hawk helicopter crash over the Mediterranean Sea. Thanks to friends like you, Tunnel to Towers provided his family with a mortgage-free home, giving them security and hope in their darkest hours. Help more families like the Dwyers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Quiet down. Here she comes. Shh. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
5 years ago, we were in the throes of the COVID pandemic and all the shutdowns from schools to stores and all the masks and social distancing. Some blame a lab leak from virus research in China for all that, and now this.
An executive order from President Trump significantly limits U.S. funding for gain-of-function research conducted overseas and empowers U.S. agencies to end federal funding for other biological research, posing a public health or national security threat.
There's always a danger that in doing this research, it might leak out just by accident even, and cause a pandemic.
National Institutes of Health Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya joined President Trump for the executive order signing. The president also signed an order intended to streamline U.S. pharmaceutical production. He says tariffs on drugs made overseas will be announced in the next few weeks. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures falling about 300 points for the Dow. The day after losses, the S&P 500 ended a 9-straight-session streak of gains. In the NBA playoffs, a lot of drama.
Double-digit comebacks to start 2 second-round NBA playoff series. The Nuggets trailed the Thunder by 11 points in Oklahoma City with 4.5 minutes to go. The Knicks trailed the Celtics in Boston by 20 points in the third quarter. Both the Knicks and the Nuggets fought back to win. The Celtics set an NBA record for the most three-point shots missed in a playoff game. Boston missed 45 attempts, lost in overtime to Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, 108-105. How did Aaron Gordon and the Nuggets manage to beat the Thunder last night?
A lot of guys stepped up, but I think our poise and our belief that we were going to win, no matter the circumstances.
The Nuggets' Aaron Gordon with TNT after he sank a game-winning three-point shot with 3 seconds left to beat the Thunder 121-119.
That's Fox's Jared Max. In the NHL's playoffs, the defending champion Panthers also lost a second-round opener to the Toronto Maple Leafs, beat Florida 5-4. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 59 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast. That's coming up next. An upstate New York correctional officer is pleading guilty to felony manslaughter in the high-profile death of inmate Robert Brooks. Brooks was beaten to death at Marcy Correctional Facility in December. Christopher Walrath is expected to get 15 years in prison as part of the plea deal. The 36-year-old is one of a half-dozen correctional officers charged in the vicious attack. Body cam video showed the 43-year-old Brooks being punched, choked, kicked, and hoisted by his neck while handcuffed on a gurney at the facility. Walrath is set to be sentenced on August 4th. More is known about the stabbing at the Amazon facility in Frankfurt. The incident happened around 3:15 Sunday morning, and a victim was taken to a local hospital where they are listed in stable condition. According to Frankfurt Police Chief Matthew Palumbo, both the suspect and the victim are believed to have been employed by the facility. The incident remains under investigation before authorities can file charges with the district attorney's office. The suspect is still reportedly at large. Amazon said in a statement it is saddened by the senseless act of violence. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. As discussed earlier this morning, a company that launched in Clay is going to pay almost $8 million as part of a settlement agreement. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, CoreLife Eatery made false statements in order to get federal COVID-19 relief funding. It was later determined CoreLife operated too many restaurants to be eligible for grants after a whistleblower decided to come forward. CoreLife's first location was on Buckley Road in Clay, and the company now has 36 restaurants. And the conclave is set to select a new pope later this week. Catholic cardinals from around the world are making final preparations to select a successor to Pope Francis through the very secret process. Once the conclave begins on Wednesday, the 133 cardinals taking part in the election will remain behind closed doors in the Sistine Chapel until a candidate for pope receives a 2/3 majority vote. After each vote, cardinals will burn the ballots and send up black smoke from a chimney. But when a new pope is finally chosen, they will release white smoke. Conclaves have historically lasted about 4 days. And we're celebrating some pretty important people today. It's National Teacher Appreciation Day. In addition, it's also National Nurses Day, marking the first day of National Nurses Week. The week ends May 12th on the birthday of the late Florence Nightingale, who was widely recognized as the founder of modern nursing. Your WIBX news time is 8:08. Here's your full weather forecast.
We'll continue telling the rain story. Upper level low pressure stubborn to go away, as is typical with these cutoff lows. More showers around today, even some thunderstorms. We got a little fog out there too early this morning. 73 later, with the scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing. Even on through the overnight tonight, 55. And they'll come in round, so it doesn't rain every hour on the hour. Wednesday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stitchick at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
59 degrees under cloudy skies. Let's take a look at sports. And broadcasting from the IBEW 43 local sports desk. The Knicks and Nuggets are out to early 1-0 road leads in their conference semifinal series. Out east, New York stunned the Celtics 108-105 in overtime, while Denver shocked the Thunder with a 121-119 comeback. Both of those 7-game series continue tomorrow. As for today, the Pacers hope to take a 2-0 lead over the road against the East top-seeded Cavaliers, while the Warriors and Timberwolves get down and dirty in Minneapolis for Game 1. The Cavaliers are bringing home another regular season NBA award. Kenny Atkinson was named Coach of the Year yesterday. He led Cleveland to 64 wins and finished as the top seed in the East in his first season with the team. J.B. Bickerstaff, who got fired from Cleveland last year, came in second with the Pistons, while Rockets coach Ime Udoka finished third. The NFL announced yesterday at the White House that the 2027 NFL Draft will be held at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. This will be the first time the city has hosted the event since 1941, when it took place at the Willard Hotel. The Bears selected Michigan halfback Tom Harmon, father of actor Mark Harmon, with the first overall pick. The Maple Leafs opened the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs with a victory over the defending champion Panthers. Toronto leads the best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinals with 1-0 in Game 2 on Wednesday. 2 more Game 1s are on tap for tonight. The Capitals hosting the Hurricanes and the Golden Knights battling the Oilers. The Jets and the Stars begin their series with Game 1 tomorrow night in Winnipeg. The New York Islanders have the first pick of the 2025 NHL Draft. The Isles won the NHL Draft Lottery after having the 10th best odds at just 3.5% chance of getting the top pick. The Yankees came up short in their series opener against the Padres after falling 4-3 in the Bronx. Trent Grisham slugged his 9th home run of the season with a 2-run blast. The Pinstripes continue their 3-game set against San Diego tonight. The Mets held on for a 5-4 win over the Diamondbacks in Phoenix. New York leads the NL East after snapping its 2-game skid. They continue its 3-game series against Arizona tonight. In other news, DH Jesse Winker is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a grade 2 oblique strain. And reliever A.J. Minter is having a season-ending surgery next Monday. Your WIBX news time is 8:11, 59 degrees and cloudy outside. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, if you've been struggling with some pain in your neck or back or knees, wrists, arthritis or shoulders, there's an option out there called Revive Software Therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico. It's FDA-cleared, non-invasive, drug-free treatment for chronic pain, inflammation, and all joint issues. You can ask about their $99 new patient special. The introductory discovery session includes a consultation with one of their doctors, soft wave therapy treatment, and a treatment recovery plan and assessment. This has been so enormous and so effective for so many people. Dr. Del Medico, who is also a chiropractor, really left that business and went in completely with Revive Softwave Therapy. It's changing people's lives. It may do the same for you. No anesthesia or numbing agents. There's no surgery. It's completely non-invasive, and it does increase the blood supply, stimulating a small injury, which activates the stem cells and allowing your body to help get rid of the pain. Pretty amazing. 315-725-8427, trusted by pro athletes and medical experts around the world. Scheduled 315-725-8427 for Revive Softwave Therapy with Dr. Timothy Del Medico.
28 years ago, Lori Potasowicz had a dream. With a natural love for pets, she wanted to become an expert groomer. So she set out to become the area's only nationally certified master groomer and launched her business, one paw at a time. With grooming expertise and a lot of loving care, Lori and her talented team began caring for pets one paw at a time. Cuts, shampoos, and styling, one paw at a time. Teeth and nails with no detail overlooked from head to toe, one paw at a time. Getting to know each and every dog and cat by name, the One Paw at a Time family grew, and Lori had a decision to make. Keep expanding? She followed her heart and decided to keep the One Paw family atmosphere just the way it is, so she can keep taking care of the pets she knows and loves, one paw at a time. Lori and her team want to thank the families they serve for putting their trust in them to care for their four-legged family members, one paw at a time. 320 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro near Woods Road. One Paw appreciates your understanding for their current waiting list for new customers.
Now through May 31st. Get up to $160 back by mail on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get up to an additional $80 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or firestonerewards.com for details.
The Memorial Day sale is on at Mattress Express. No one in New York State has all the brands we have. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish. And now we have added Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta, and Avocado. Hurry!
Business owners everywhere are raving about ZipRecruiter's new feature, Zip Intro, which does the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates to meet with you as soon as the next day. So we decided to call up some of these employers and hear their stories. Today, we're on the phone with Pilates studio owner Crystal M. Harris. Crystal, how has Zip Intro helped you hire?
Well, I was opening a Pilates studio in McDonough, Georgia, and I needed to staff up quickly. Zip Intro did the work for me. It helped me find enthusiastic candidates who matched my qualifications perfectly.
That's great.
Yeah, I had my Zip Intro session on Tuesday, did all the interviews by Thursday, sent out the offers on Friday, and they started on Monday. Because Zip Intro did most of the work, I saved so much time.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, you can try Zip Intro for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Before there was social media, streaming, and even color television, there was radio. Remember the golden days when you had to tune in to hear what happened to Hopalong Cassidy, or perhaps the Green Hornet? What if you could relive those days again? Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was, a show that's dedicated to the very best of radio's golden age. From classic performances by Jack Benny to tales of terror on Lights Out. It's all here on When Radio Was, starting every Sunday at 11 p.m., only on WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Which classic broadcast will you hear next?
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
So a little update on the that stabbing that occurred at Amazon. So there is some information out. I find it to be very interesting that after doing a little bit of investigating on this story, that there was a stabbing in Missouri. I got to bring us up here. There was a stabbing in Missouri where the same thing happened at an Amazon facility. Only in this case, it was a fatal, and it was very interesting. And your take on this, I would like, because you're about communicating with the public. Right?
Absolutely.
And Amazon's a pretty big company.
Huge.
So you would think they know how to communicate with the public and with their employees. Here is what Amazon said after the stabbing that occurred in Frankfurt here early Sunday morning. We are saddened by this senseless act of violence and are focused on providing support for our employees at this time. You want to know what they said about the stabbing that occurred back in January in Missouri?
I'm going to take a wild guess.
We are saddened by this senseless act of violence and are focused on the exact same thing.
It sounds like AI wrote that.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the case. And so you get a good statement that's cleared through legal.
Right. Absolutely.
Don't change anything. Respond in the exact same way.
Insert location here.
So they didn't even put the location in. That's the funny part. And in the case of the one that occurred in Frankfurt, we now know they were 2 employees who worked there. We also know that there is someone that police are looking for, and he is currently still at large. So that occurred. And, I don't know about you, but going through my head is, all right, what could have caused a dispute between 2 people in a work environment where they're probably dealing with boxes and loading vehicles.
Right.
A lot of different things, right?
Right. And assuming that the victim is going to make a recovery, it sounds like.
I believe so, but it was bad. It was stabbing in the face.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I know in a lot of those facilities, they do carry box cutters.
Stabbing in the face, though. Stabbing in the face. I wonder if that was intentional. It's currently alleged that this is the person that is the person of interest for police. But, there could be someone else who was involved. You could have a dispute over anything today. I almost feel like the dispute could be over politics, and it could lead to something like that.
You never know.
You never know. Not today. Okay, speaking of disputes, what is going on with the state budget? Will we have one soon? As of last night, it looked like we are now, believe it or not, close, and may actually see a vote before the end of the week. Question mark. On the line right now, Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw. Marianne, good morning, and here we go. What can you tell us?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. And yes, as it looks, possibly we could start voting either late today or tomorrow.
Wow.
That's the hopes. We seem to be moving in a direction of closure, and spent yesterday conferencing, so I'm optimistic, unless some monkey wrench comes into this. But clearly, yes.
All right, so which would put an end to all of this. One thing I believe that during this time, you guys aren't, the legislature's not paid, right?
No.
So
no, we are not.
That's a bit of an incentive to, because you got to put gas in your car. However, these extenders, and I'm told there might be another extender today, just to keep the government moving forward.
Right, but I believe
you'll avoid that.
The attempt is to move forward today. The bills have not been written, so that's kind of something that we had hoped they'd be done this morning. But if they're not, then obviously we have to say that many of the items have been settled, but more importantly is we need 100% bills written to get moving forward.
Yeah.
So
I'm wondering, do you have details, like, for instance, on the bell-to-bell ban on cell phones? Do you have the details on what is going to be in the bill?
No. The difficulty that we have with that is bell-to-bell is interpreted so many ways.
Yeah.
Is it from the minute the school starts till the minute school closes, or are we talking each period within school bell-to-bell? So the interpretation is going to create, I believe, quite a bit of frustration for many of our school districts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a student needs one during class, but half of my districts had already created great policies that they felt worked well, so it should have been a local decision.
Sometimes I think schools have been able to use, so they put their ban in their own policy, but they're able to use the cell phone as a bit of an incentive to, for good behavior in certain scenarios where it can be almost a privilege that can be taken away.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that, but I've heard from many teachers that say, tell me how you're going to enforce this.
Yeah, well, that's the other part.
And so that's where I think the educators need to be at the table to have that discussion. The union does support it statewide. So I find that with many of those aspects, it's considered. I mean, we have foundation aid that we've put forward and in the assembly are pushing more money into the area, but we'll have to see what the final bill shows.
All right. And so really on this stuff, you don't have details as of yet, and you won't until the final bill is written, and hopefully you have a chance to vote on that today. What about Discovery? Can you tell us anything on where you guys have landed?
The District Attorneys Association and many of the leaders within the Senate Assembly and the executive have come to an agreement. So is it something that was proposed initially that has been modified? Yes. But the one thing that I feel is so important is the district attorney's office or association has put forward that they support this. I don't think it's everything that we had asked for, but I think more importantly, it's a in the right direction that we're moving to make sure that individuals that have found the flaws are being addressed.
Okay. Anything else that is a surprise for you through all of this?
Well, I think that more importantly is it's about a compromise. I am concerned about the financial aspects, and it's difficult because anyone that comes to me has a great proposal and needs funding. But at the same token, how do we make sure that this request of billions of dollars is going to be able to be sustained? And taking a look at possibly my office has been concentrating on, is there any other private funding that's available for many individuals? Today we do have our police memorial where we honor our fallen officers. So the Jensen family will be here today. This is a very outstanding memorial service to honor those officers as well as their families today.
Yeah. Okay.
So as the chair of small business, it's Small Business Week, so I ask everyone to please get out and support our local small businesses, and Teacher Appreciation Week also.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So
my wife demands special appreciation at home. It's really sickening, I'm going to tell you. But you gotta do, Marianne, what you gotta do. I'm telling you.
I'll have to agree with her.
All right, I have Dale with a question for you. Dale, you're on with Assemblywoman Marianne Budenschot.
Good morning. There's been some rumors online about gun owners in New York having to carry a separate insurance policy, and also rumors going around that you might have to wait 7 days to buy a gun. I wonder if any of that's true or if any of that's included in the budget.
Marianne, anything on that?
I haven't seen it in the budget, but I have seen bills that have been brought forward. And I guess, Dale, the most important aspect is there's thousands of bills that come forward. We could get you those exact bills that you're talking about. They got to go through committee. They have to go to the floor, and some of them do make it. And I'd be more than happy to look at where they are if you just want to call the office to give you a better clarity on it. I can't say that many individuals come forward with ideas, even to me. Yeah. But
so what you're saying, though, Marianne, is it is not, as far as you know, it's not in this current budget round.
No, I haven't seen it in any budget bills at this point.
Okay, all right.
But it does.
Is that something?
We've pushed to get.
Is that something you support or no?
Oh, hold on, Dale. Go ahead, Dale.
Is that something you would support or no?
Which one? The 7-day wait period?
7-day wait period. Let's start with the 7-day wait period.
I haven't read it, so I really want to take a look at the bill and what it's really asking, because a lot of times I've seen that bills just get kind of a name put to them that aren't even really what the bill is about. But as far as the wait period, what's the purpose? Is it because we don't have staff? Is there a need for doing background checks? I mean, I'm not sure what the rationale would be to wait. If it's staffing and I take a call to, I'll reach out to our pistol permits and folks like that, or individuals that are selling guns and say, do you need 7 days?
Yeah.
So I try to do a little bit of research before I just say yes or no. So that would be something that I would.
And then what about the insurance policy thing?
I'm not 100% sure. Again, I got to read it. I don't know what we're asking for. Why would we already have insurance? I don't think it's necessary, but let me take a look at it. And what they're, at this point, no, I don't think it's necessary. You already have enough insurance.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Dale, you could always call Marianne's office for some further clarification on that. But, Dale, as you know, you never know what comes out of Albany these days.
Yeah, thanks a lot for answering that question.
Thanks so much. And one of the things that, we've talked to everybody about over the years is a lot of times you get some maybe far left proposals that are bills that wouldn't go anywhere, and they do sometimes get publicized, and it gets everybody up in arms. Yet it may not ever see the light of day. But then you have those that you wouldn't think would see the light of day, and they become laws. So it is a little nerve-wracking, I think, for those who are gun owners.
And I have to agree with you that it's not just gun owners, so many other topics. Many of the teachers have brought forward state testing to me, and this bell-to-bell and enforcement. It's just every time you turn, you see, where would this come from? And, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to fight back. But I will take a look at Dale's bills.
Okay. All right, Marianne, we'll try to get you on to talk about that soon. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
And
Have
good
a
luck.
day.
Maybe we can talk tomorrow and you've already voted, although you might be up late tonight. Maybe it's Friday, but let's. If you have any update, please let us know.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much. Marianne Buttonshaw, Assemblywoman, your thoughts on adding more, the insurance thing, I don't know what that would be. Is it to cover victims' losses if there was a victim, or, I don't know.
I'm about government being less involved in our lives than they are, and forcing you to have special insurance because you carry a gun almost seems to me like trying to force people to not have guns.
Almost a tax.
Right. It's like if we make it so distasteful and so difficult for you to own a gun, you just won't own one. And I'm not for that.
And what was the other one? There was the insurance, and then the 7-day waiting list.
7-day waiting.
You already wait when it comes to a pistol permit, right?
Yeah, the background checks are incredibly extensive.
Yeah.
And I've said this for many, many years, is that the percentage of crimes that are committed by legal gun owners is minuscule.
Yeah.
Minuscule. So it's not the lawful gun owners you have to worry about.
And these guns really are accessible on the street.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how we've had the problems that we've had in Utica and Rome, and really in cities all around New York State and around the country, is that illegal gun getting in the hands oftentimes of people who are under the age of 18. That's the scary part.
And if you look at it objectively, at least in New York State anyway, is they seem to have taken the focus off of enforcement on the illegal owners, and they've gone after legal owners. And I don't understand the logic behind it.
Listen, if you have home improvements on your wish list that looks like, as we continue with rain through the week, it looks like Saturday the world changes. We may have some drier weather coming. So that project you're trying to do, it could be something as simple as trying to get your lawn mowed.
Yeah, that's for sure.
New windows, siding, or a bathroom remodel in New York Sash. How would you pay for it all? New York Sash offers easy, flexible financing options. And right now, New York Sash is holding the windows, siding, baths, Made in America sale. It's 25% off everything. And talking about their financing plans, they help you design, detail, put the project together, and then help you with your payment plan. You can finally start that project you've been dreaming about. You can get pre-approved quickly and easily with no impact to your credit score. A soft credit pull means you can explore your options with zero pressure. You can get details on their website at newyorksash.com or visit their Idea and Design Center in Whitesboro. Or call them at 315-624-7344. It's the Made in America sale at New York Sash. 25% off everything right now. And news is coming up at WIBX.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Friday, May 9th at our Canastota location for exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Canastota on Friday, May 9th from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. More is known about the stabbing at the Amazon facility in Frankfurt. The incident happened around 3:15 Sunday morning, and a victim was taken to a local hospital. They are in stable condition. According to Frankfurt Police Chief Matthew Palumbo, both the suspect and the victim are believed to have been employed by the facility. The incident remains under investigation before authorities can file charges with the district attorney's office. The suspect is still reportedly at large. Amazon said in a statement it is saddened by the senseless act of violence. A confirmed microburst devastated part of Monterey on Friday. The National Weather Service in Binghamton said the microburst's path was about 4.25 miles, with a width of nearly 1.25 miles, and winds gusted up to 85 miles per hour. The microburst lasted around 2 minutes, which uprooted trees and destroyed structures. The same system then continued east with winds up to 75 miles per hour across southern Schuyler County and Tompkins County. The NWS said they were able to determine this using a storm survey. Upstate New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik says she's strongly considering a run for New York governor next year. Sarah Lee Kessler reports.
Stefanik, a 40-year-old Harvard University graduate, says she's taking a hard look at it and says the outpouring of support has been tremendous. It comes after the rural New York Republicans' nomination to become America's United Nations ambassador fell through earlier this year because President Trump wanted her to stay in Congress, which has a thin GOP margin. Stefanik believes she can beat Democratic incumbent Kathy Hochul, who says, "Bring it on." I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
And Rite Aid is closing all of its stores in New York. The drugstore chain filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy for the second time on Monday within 2 years. CEO Matt Schreider says the bad economy, tariffs, and other factors contributed to the situation. Rite Aid has locations in Camillus, New Hartford, Rome, Utica, and Whitesboro. In all, it has 179 locations across New York State. Layoffs begin next month. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
We'll continue telling the rain story. Upper level low pressure stubborn to go away, as is typical with these cutoff lows. More showers around today, even some thunderstorms. We got a little fog out there too early this morning. 73 later, with the scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing. Even on through the overnight tonight, 55. And they'll come in round, so it doesn't rain every hour on the hour. Wednesday, more scattered showers and thunderstorms, upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Ray Stijik at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, I will tell you that we're with cloudy skies right now, and the temperature 60 degrees, heading up towards 70 today. A couple of comments, and we got a bunch in there. We'll get to those coming up in a second. Take a few phone calls, 315-736-0186. And there's a study out there that says, and see what you think of this, Steve Houck, a study that says workplace incivility is soaring out of control. What do you think? We'll get to it coming up at WIBX.
Empowered Pathways invites you to an unforgettable evening. Come to the table. Happening Friday, May 16th at Hart's Hill Inn in Whitesboro. Enjoy a cocktail hour from 5:30 to 6:30. Stunning table designs by local artists, silent auctions, themed baskets, and a delicious dinner prepared by Hart's Hill Inn.
And don't miss the highlight of the night, an exciting live auction where you can go home with a one-of-a-kind designer table. Hosted by Susan Knackley with live music from local favorite Ronnie Lee. It's a night you won't want to miss.
Proceeds support Empowered Pathways life-changing programs, from conflict resolution and job training to youth and family services, making a real impact right here in our community.
Doors open at 4:30. The fun kicks off at 5:30. Join us Friday, May 16th at Harts Hill Inn. Learn more at empoweredpathwayscny.org. That's empoweredpathwayscny.org.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
Well, the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Try their pistachio lattes, which are just amazing. Iced coffee, amazing cold brew coffee. Everything is made fresh every morning, including the donuts, the croissants, and now introducing the new breakfast sandwich, the egg white frittata, made with egg white, spinach, tomato, and feta cheese. Have it on a bagel, an English muffin, or the incredibly amazing croissant. Or you can do it without bread. Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford. That drive-through speedy fast. You're in, you're out, and you're on your way. Oh, isn't that what they do? What do you think on workplace incivility? And I think politics has played a big role in this.
Yeah, you hear a lot of stories about this. I mean, maybe that's what happened in Amazon, as you said. Maybe they were talking politics. But
so, what a time when you're thinking about this topic, and here we are. Police are looking for a man who stabbed another man during an early morning shift in Frankfurt at an Amazon facility.
That's about as uncivil as you can get.
Obviously, there must have been some sort of a dispute, or something was going on there. I kind of wonder what that, and maybe we will find out, but police are still looking for the man right now. On the line right now is a workplace expert who trains leaders from coast to coast. Heather Lyle is with us right now. Heather, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
You'd have a blast training us.
Oh. And why is that?
Well, you'd be taking we would bring you new things that you haven't dealt with before, right? And
wow. I mean, I just wrote a book, and maybe y'all will give me new content, right?
So what is the? You just wrote the book, so it's not out yet.
June 10th. June 10th is when it comes out.
All right. What's the name of the book?
The book is called "Hold the Pineapple, Please: Purposeful Conversations That Build Better Teams, Bottom Lines of Banana Splits."
Okay.
And yes, there's a story behind the banana split thing, but we don't have to talk about that now.
All right. Well, listen, I always thought pineapple was an Italian symbol for peace and welcome.
It is.
Yeah. So that kind of fits right
absolutely.
in. Okay. What? All right. Shaming, gaslighting, micromanaging, talking politics. This can all be bad today.
It can be. It absolutely can be. You know, and what is even worse is when people don't have conversations together, eyeball to eyeball. It's, texting or snapping or snarky comments through email and that kind of thing. What I find is that when people don't have the hard conversations eyeball to eyeball, that's where things get lost. And so that's really something that I preach a lot, is just we've got to be able to teach people how to have conversations and know who these people, take a minute to think about who is the person that you're talking to and how do I best message to them that will actually stick with them.
Yeah.
And most people don't do that. They don't take a beat to do that. So.
Well, you listen. You saw the story that or you heard while you were waiting.
Yeah.
At a local Amazon facility where, and this was bad. So we don't know the cause.
So unfortunate.
But stabbed in the face. The person was stabbed multiple times in the face. So it's really potentially really, really bad. But you don't know today. It could be in the workplace, so you get all of that, right? You get your, it could be just a personal conflict with a person. You don't like the person. But in addition to that, you get this one is flirting with this one, or this one slept with this one's wife or girlfriend. Yeah. I mean, that adds a whole new dimension. And people get, I think, they get furious, and who knows what happens next.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, what I see for employers tend to go off the rails. They don't set the expectations up front for how we're going to have conflict, resolution. Yeah. And so training your people so they understand what the process is for how to have these conversations with people, within the workplace. How do you talk to the boss that it may be a bully? How do you talk to the coworker who is just wearing you out? And bringing in HR to be able to help you with those conversations as well, too. That's why they're there.
Do you think, years ago, you used to be able to, and maybe this is an example of things aren't the way they used to be and probably never were. Yeah. Like, we look back at things like, boy, it used to be, people lived much longer years ago. Well, that's not true. People got along better years ago. Well, that might be true. But I do think that sometimes you think about the old days, and it was dealt with. You go to your boss, and your boss deals with it. Today, nothing can happen without HR.
Yeah, no, and because I think a large part of that is that so many struggle with how to have the conversations in the first place. How do you communicate with others that don't communicate the way that you do? And there's things that you can do about that. I mean, gosh, I teach and train on that all the time. There's books to read, podcasts to listen to, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, taking just a minute, and I think so often we respond so quickly without actually hearing and listening to what's really going on, and we make assumptions. And when you assume, you lose, right? You lose on a relationship, you lose your temper, you lose all of it. And so taking just a minute to go, okay, what's really happening here, and how do I best respond to this versus just immediate action that you're probably going to regret later.
Yeah. I'm assuming you would recommend making sure that if people work for a corporation or a bigger company, that you take the time to read the handbook.
Yeah, read the not only read the handbook, but actually have conversations about that, like what actually is expected. I mean, how many times, and I'm sure you've done this, or you've heard people who've done it. It's like you've read the handbook, you check the box online, and you move on to the next thing, and nobody really reads it. So, are we actually taking the time to talk about the things that really matter? And that's a big piece of this as well too. So, well, you know that I'm a big believer.
The handbook never gets used until they're trying to get rid of you. Like, you'll never hear about the handbook until all of a sudden you get a memo that says you didn't follow A, B, and C in the handbook, and you're like, what handbook? I forgot we even had a handbook.
Yeah, but there was a handbook.
Yeah, that's a warning sign. Trouble's on the way. So.
Yeah. And so often that's the case. But again, taking the time to actually have the conversations and ask the questions, that's the piece that I feel like is lost. You know, it's just so easy for people to send the text, and we dehumanize things when we do that. And so taking a minute to actually consider where the other person might be coming from is a big piece of it.
All right. Great stuff. We'll be looking for your book when it comes out. Maybe we'll talk to you again.
Oh, perfect. All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Heather Lyle is the workplace expert. Do you agree? I mean, it's to the point now where no problem can be solved at the boss level anymore. And if you're in a small company, you don't feel that. But if you work for a big company, everything goes to HR.
You know, I saw that in police work, just like every other profession goes through a lot of evolutions, a lot of changes. But I remember when I first came on, if you screwed up, the boss called you in, they chewed you out, called you every name in the book, and you went back out and you did not do that again. And it changed over the years where it was the boss would call you in and they'd say, what a great job you were doing. By the way, here's your counseling memo on what you did wrong. And so you got talked to much nicer, but in the end, you got, maybe something in your file where before you didn't have it.
I think there was an SNL bit over the weekend that was, they call it the sandwich. So something good on the beginning, something good on the end, and in between is the criticism.
Correct.
Right? So, I mean, they kind of mocked it a little bit, but that is, when you start out in that meeting, it's like the way you communicate with your audience is so wonderful. However, you're in.
Exactly.
Nothing.
And at the end, they tell you how great you are.
And then they tell you how great you are. Yeah. Stand by in the lines. You have something. I got a bunch of comments on YouTube and through the app, and people who have messaged in. We'll get to some of those. But maybe you want to call and voice your opinion on whatever is on your mind. 315-736-0186. We'll take those calls coming up at WIBX.
Now through May 31st, get up to $140 back by mail on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $70 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or bridgestonerewards.com for details.
I went in for a regular prostate screening, and my lab results showed my PSA level were elevated.
We repeated the lab test, and the second test came back elevated too. We did a biopsy, and the biopsy showed cancer in certain areas of Philip's prostate.
Dr. Bob performed a prostatectomy at Wayne Hospital using robotic surgery to remove the cancer.
We were able to cure him with smaller incisions, and he had a quick recovery.
Since the surgery, all my PSA level has been normal. I am proof that early detection can prevent something far worse.
I had been lifting something heavy, felt a tinge in my back. I also had some shortness of breath, but thought it was due to what I figured was some kind of muscle pull. I was wrong.
The episodes of pain that Ray was experiencing were actually small heart attacks. The Wynn Emergency Department was able to provide immediate life-saving care to Ray's heart.
If it wasn't for the amazing team at Wynn, I might not be here at all. I feel indebted to everyone who helped make Wynn Hospital a reality so I can get the immediate care I needed right when I needed it.
Thank you for giving my daddy back home.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment, and trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Hey, I want to tell you about the Good Feet store. People of all ages can experience any level of discomfort and pain, whether it be your knees, hips, back, that stem from, believe it or not, foot issues. And in the police world, if you're walking the beat, you would feel that if your shoes aren't good, or maybe the way you walk isn't good. Maybe you've developed bad habits over the years. The Good Feet store has you covered. Their goal is to impede the pain that bothers you every single day. Their trusted team of arch support specialists transform lives every day, bringing hope to those that have exhausted all options but are still hoping for a better, pain-free world. You can make an appointment at the Good Feet store. I went through this process. You walk on it's almost like you're creating the art project where there's an ink pad and you're walking and trying to create the pressure. They show you where you, maybe one foot versus the other, what could very well be causing, based on arch, could be causing a pain for you, and a lot of pain and a lack when it comes to quality of life. And then they have a 3-step system, including strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers, inserts that are put into your own shoes, or you can add shoes as well. They have some great shoes for you to select, and everything made in the USA. And the idea is to retrain the way you walk and to improve when it comes to pain. Maintain proper foot alignment by exercising and strengthening those muscles, tendons, and ligaments of the feet, all by simply wearing these inserts and doing what you normally do. Schedule an appointment at 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford by calling 315-999-3910. It's the Good Feet store in New Hartford. I got a bunch of comments. And let me start with Lucia, who's hanging out here. Good morning. Lucy, good morning.
Oh, good morning. I'm going to change the subject. Is that okay?
All right. Yeah.
So you were playing the letter.
I actually don't. I don't even have a subject right now. So go ahead.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. So David Letterman, and you played that about you. Oh my God, it's so funny. It's fun to make fun of yourself, right? I do that all the time.
Yes.
When I talk to you and I say some things, and I go, "Oh my God, did I really say that?" Well, I did it.
You did.
And,
I mean, you did,
yeah.
and self-deprecating. I think that's that can be very funny. You're absolutely right, Luz.
You gotta laugh at yourself, and that's why you do it. And I admire you for that.
Listen, I laugh at myself all the time. I have no choice. Otherwise, I'd be crying.
No, you don't cry. No, you move on.
Yes.
You do a great job, and so nobody better than you can do it. Nobody can do it better than you.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Lucy.
Do you? No, and I mean it. I would say that in the biggest podium in the world, if I could, if I had to. You remember Maury Povich?
I do. Yeah.
Remember when I went there to his show for a few days?
I do. You visited the Maury Povich show.
I didn't want to, but I did because, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was next door to where I was. And so I went. And remember you did the promo? Because one day there was a man who was in jail. It was
yeah. I forgot what the whole story was. This was back when we were on the radio some years ago.
Right.
I think we took a bus down to Maury Povich, and Lucia was one of those who was there at the Maury Povich show. Boy, did they love you!
I didn't take the bus though. Did you take the bus?
I don't remember. All these
No.
stories are kind of melding in my mind. Was I in Providence at the time?
It's not
Here,
important.
I don't know. Right. Anyway.
You did the promo after when I went, and on the promo, I was saying when I spoke on the radio to you about the whole story when I was there, I said, I hope you're right. So somebody who killed 2 kids.
That I do remember.
And you used to play that. I hope you're right.
It was a little promo that we put together.
I wanted to die.
Well, listen, that was good, Lucia, and maybe somewhere I have that. If I can find it, I'll pull it out for you. All right?
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
No. All right.
It's fun.
Lucia, I'm up against the clock. You have a wonderful day. The sun will shine sometime soon, probably Saturday.
Thank you so much. Ciao.
Right, thank you. A bunch of comments here on so I was talking about the Mets game, and I had the luxury of using somebody's club seats, which are pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I have someone here. Is it Steve or Juan? Sell those tickets. They're worth something. Sell them. And if your kid was a Yankee fan, this is Steve, would you go to the trouble and take him to a Yankees game? I don't know. See, the thing that you don't understand is my kid is not a fan of baseball, not a Yankees fan or a Mets fan. I'm a Mets fan. The thought is for a celebration of graduation, which we're dealing with coming up, why would you go to a Mets game? Well, it's going to be exciting for everybody, right? I mean, if you're going to go to a game, you want to go and be in club seats.
And they're playing well.
And they're playing well.
Having a good season.
Yeah.
Lots of stars.
On pain, Juan says weed is the answer. That is the remedy. That will solve your problem. Jay Wick, maybe let the sheriff finish speaking instead of cutting him off. I don't know what that's from. Did we have the sheriff?
Not today.
Today? I don't know. Have I cut you off? Maybe he thinks you're the sheriff.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Rob Mace will be surprised.
Rob would be very surprised by that. I don't think I've necessarily cut him off. Okay, any more over here? Mike, the governor better be a little more worried about winning the primary that she surely will be in for before she worries about dealing with Elise Stefanik. Can Elise Stefanik beat Governor Hochul? I say it's going to be very difficult. And Lawler is probably a better option for Republicans because he's more moderate. I think the fact that Elise is tied to Trump can really energize that New York City anti-Trump vote.
It's possible, but I think many people didn't think Lee Zeldin would do as well as he did in the last election. So
Yeah,
maybe there's an opening there.
Maybe there's an option. If anybody could, it would be maybe Elise Stefanik, right? And then were there some others? I just want to check and make sure I'm not missing anybody because they'll get slighted, and we don't want that. Here we go. And Bill, check with your sources. A female employee at the Utica School District was escorted out of the administrative building. I'll look into that. Mr. Houck said the correction. This is Lance saying about the corrections officers. The correction officers would be in solitary confinement. I believe they'll actually be in a protective custody wing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it could very well be. Again, I'm certainly no expert in corrections.
All right, I think I got everybody in. Even Lance and Lee. And Steve, thank you for being here today. We appreciate it. Steve Ponte Mazda, the Move to Mazda sales event is underway. Love my Mazda. Save on the new Mazda lease. Enjoy 0.9% APR financing also on new 2025 Mazdas. See the dealership for details. And you know that Mazda finished 2024 with a 16.8% increase in sales year over year and was awarded more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than any other brand. And for Steve Ponte Mazda, #1 in the nation in customer service. As Rick says, let's make your deal on a Steve Ponte Mazda. All right, we have news coming up, and then Kilmeade on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Will President Trump refer to Canada's leader as a governor? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Prime Minister McCartney will go to the White House for trade and tariff talks in a few hours. The president has often suggested that Canada should be our 51st state, something Carney says will never happen.
Sometimes these meetings at the White House are scheduled after a deal has been agreed to, but according to Prime Minister Carney, the two sides are still a ways apart.
We're meeting as heads of our government to discuss that partnership. Now, I'm not pretending those discussions will be easy or they won't proceed in a straight line. There'll be zigs and zags, ups and downs.
The #1 point of contention today, U.S. automakers moving operations north.
Well, that's Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will face questions at a House hearing next hour about trade talks and the Trump tariffs and concern about their effect on the economy. The Homeland Security Secretary will also testify at another House hearing, no doubt asked about the new incentives to get illegal immigrants to self-deport, paying for their flights out and giving them $1,000 after they've left.
Christine Ohms says the plan will save taxpayer dollars, noting it cost more than $17,000 for a migrant to be arrested, detained, and deported.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House.
President Trump says immigrants who do not self-deport will not have a path back to the U.S.
And speaking of flights, nearly 200 to and from Newark, New Jersey are delayed or canceled again this morning as that airport continues to deal with a shortage of air traffic controllers made worse when someone on leave last week because of the stress following a technical problem that briefly turned off radar and cut communications with planes. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries blames the president.
As part of breaking the federal government, the Trump administration is breaking the FAA.
But Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells Fox.
We have really old infrastructure in America. It hasn't been updated in the last 30, 40 years. This should have been dealt with in the last administration.
America's listening to Fox News.
Allie Dwyer and her 3 sons